And welcome back for the next, maybe final part of the series. Don't know yet. I don't know if I'm going to want to really try to get all the different endings. It's fine. It's been a lot. This game has gone on a lot longer than I expected. It's fine. Anyway, now we're in Luke's part, who is the final perspective, unless we get a random other one, but based on the profiles, it's only going to be these. 7. I don't know that we would actually get another one. Anyway. We still don't know what day it is, so we'll find out, I guess. Another long and exhausting day at work, and I still have much to do. Sometimes I wonder why I still bother. I can surely afford to retire, leave the business to trusted colleagues. Even if they make enough to only break even, I have enough money to last us a lifetime or 3. I could send 7 children to college if I had any. Not that I plan to. The problem is obvious, isn't it? I don't trust any of the lot. It has to be me because they may get it wrong. I don't want to retire and suddenly wake up one day only to find that everything has gone down the shitter. Maybe I should hire McCullough as a personal assistant. She seems capable and trustworthy enough. It's hard to find someone who isn't trying to butter me up and trying to curry favor with me.
Christ, I'm knackered. Who do I have to kill to have fewer problems around here?
I'm not really allowed to complain. I chose this path. But that doesn't stop me from doing so as I throw my shoes off and let them land wherever they please. Petty, maybe, but there's a certain joy that comes with stepping onto the carpeted staircase with nothing but my socks on. I'll accept 29th. Okay, wow, we are starting late. I'll accept no distractions. I call up Shrokin for a sandwich, but that's probably it. Shrokin? I hope that's... man. I've got a suitcase filled with contracts to check over and sign before I can retire for the night. I'm also waiting on a call from Suarez for any news updates regarding the IT leaks. A real cause for concern. The only reason that's the only reason there's ever been an investigation on me. Had it been a new thing, I would have let it run its course. But it's been going on far too long, near 3 years, for me to just take on a passive role in the affair. I've only kept my head this far because I've managed to mitigate most of the damage with several favors, and some grand puppeteer to ensure the high-profile law enforcement and government officials keep me out of trouble. But who knows how long it can stay that way. Powers are shifting and the current can be unpredictable. This whole exit business is already shaking things up and upsetting the balance. It's only with great care that I can stay where I am, but the smallest of efforts can unravel all that I've done. It certainly won't help if I'm being accused of things, whether I'm guilty or not, because some computer chum thinks he can play a game with me. And, well, shit. It'll be a miracle if I get to sleep tonight, though that is hardly surprising news. But before I can even take a step into the study, a voice from the bedroom calls out to me.
Luke, darling, you're finally home. Why don't you be a dear and come in here?
And I hesitate for a moment. I do have work to be done, but I suppose greeting my wife as I get home is only proper. I've already been gone for most of the week, unless I needed here for work on the house. So, with a sigh, I head towards the bedroom. Oh, okay, hi. The feelings that came to me as I enter the room are definitely mixed. For one, I am somewhat floored by the sight that greets me. Then, there's confusion. Exasperation is strangely there as well. And, to be expected, there is desire. She's a divine goddess, or rather, she's a horrible temptress. What man wouldn't be attracted to by that? I guess they could be a sausage jockey. But that is besides the point and not relevant to the situation I found myself in right now. This is nice and all, but why does she have to go and do this now
My
of all nights?
love, the bed is awfully cold without you.
The fact of the matter is, I've never seen Hana all primped up like this since our first year of marriage. There must be something special to bring such an act. Our wedding anniversary has already passed, so that can't be it. Hana's birthday is in April and mine is in August, so it can't be either of those. So what in the bloody blazes is going on? Is Hana drunk?
Why don't you just, take a rest? I'll be busy all night.
Is that answer too cold? I don't mean it to be. She certainly doesn't look amused.
Come on over and stop being a boring old man. Work can wait.
Maybe I can entertain her just for a while. It is a tempting idea. But no, I'll never get any work done that way. And imagine how horrible it will be to get a call from Suarez in the middle of a shag. That certainly would kill the mood and piss me off more than anything. It'll be even worse if Kylie steals the phone from him, as the little Incubarter is prone to do unless her father is locked into a room. Just thinking about the possibility is weird and turns me off from even trying anything.
I'm afraid it can't, Buttercup. But hey, it's Sunday tomorrow. We can go out for dinner right after. Somewhere nice like that Italian restaurant you wanted to try out?
Why don't we skip dinner tomorrow and eat out tonight?
Gross.
Whoa there, why don't we slow down? Looks like someone is in the mood, but hey, there's a time and place for everything.
I grew up in a house where sex was a constant thing. It's just a thing that the body does, more or less. Sometimes it comes with social implications, supposedly, with paper-thin walls, and a mother with that horrid job of hers makes me think that way. But I learned later on that that isn't the case for everybody. Suffice to say, this is really odd. For her, at least. I am quite sure she never grew up in a sexually promiscuous home like I did. She grew up in a well-to-do, normal, and decent family. And in the 7 years we've been married, she never acted this aggressive about sex. We do it when the mood comes to that, but never like this. And when I'm in the mood and she isn't, that's about the time I go around town to have my back scratched. I've got nothing to be guilty of, I believe, as long as it's just lust and not love. Oh. I hate him. That's a good way to explain it, I guess. I'm just really confused and trying to come to grips with reality as it's presented to me.
Well, this is the place, but now is not a good time, darling. Like I said, I have plenty of important work to be done. Any other night, this would be great. Excellent, splendid. But not right now, okay?
I suppose if that's what you want. I can have my prince another time.
A chill runs up my spine as she calls me that again. My prince. Is she going through some midlife crisis? I know she's not the sort to play pretend with that sort of thing. Now that I think about it, this is probably some dream. Perhaps I've been exposed to something? Jesus, I've gone and fucked my own brain over. That can be the only explanation. Or at least the only explanation my mind wants to accept right now. But if it were, I probably should accept her offer, no? But on the off chance it isn't, I shouldn't. Either choice fucks someone over. Quite literally at that.
Yes, that's right. Another time. So if you could put your dress back on. It's really chilly right now, isn't it? You don't want to catch a cold if we're going out tomorrow.
Thankfully, she's done as she's told, which puts this strange episode to an abrupt end. Unfortunately, she has to put her dress back on so painfully and seductively slow, I suspect she knows the things she does to me. As much as I'd like to have the engine running, there are things to be done to make sure we can keep on enjoying a glamorous life as we do now.
I'm starting to think you don't find me beautiful anymore.
Is that what brought this on, then? You are an angel. A goddess, Hana. Of all the flowers in this garden, you are by far the most beautiful and rarest of them all. Every bloke would want to be with you, and every lady would want to be you. I'm sure it goes the other way around, too. I'm lucky to have you, and I don't know how you put up with the likes of me.
Your smooth talk isn't winning me over, Luke. I still hate you.
I'm really sorry, darling, but it really isn't a good time.
I don't quite think little Luke is up for some fun just yet, either. Not after the blow he had being dealt with by a violent ginger harpy. It does hurt me to see her upset because of something I've done or said. It always does. One can't always get his or her way, though. At least society would like you to believe in order to soften the blow of disappointment. And I'll have to take their side on that, just this once. Pulling her in for a hug and a peck on the cheek, I'm quick to pull away before I change my mind and make it more than that. I can at least give her those.
Chin up and smile. You'll get wrinkles frowning like that. And beauty sleep helps.
Of course, my prince. I suppose I can do with the sleep.
The smile that lights up on her face is enough to make me forget about the oddity that just transpired. I still don't understand this whole prince thing, though. I'll let it slide for now. Seeing her with the golden locks and that silver dress, it almost makes her queenly. With due respect to Her Majesty, of course. Despite that, there's just something off.
Hana, before I go, what happened to your necklace? The blue diamond.
Oh, he does notice things. The fact that she seemed confused feels off.
Whatever do you mean? Oh, that old thing. It's somewhere in the vanity drawer, I think.
And to be so aloof about it?
What? But wasn't that from your father?
It was a priceless heirloom, to be exact, handed down from one generation of Evans to the next, whether it to be a wife or a daughter of the Nevins. I know that Hana treasured it so, especially after it was given to her with her own mother's passing. Then, what is that ugly thing dangling around her neck? Looks more like a choking hazard than anything.
It was, of course it was. I just thought a change would be nice.
I don't think I've seen her wear anything else in its place. A change it is, but not an entirely welcome one at that.
I see. I suppose that makes sense. Well, not that it matters, but I like the old necklace better. At the very least, we can have it cleaned and polished while you're not wearing it. Remind me to have that done in the morning.
Whatever you wish, my prince.
Right. You have a good night then, Buttercup.
With a shake of my head, I don't waste any more time than I've done already. Heavy suitcase in hand, I head straight for the study and dive right into the contracts. There's a whole stack of them too, most to do with property management. Nonetheless, careful work needs to be put into them as with everything else. My attorneys have already checked them over, but I like to be precise. I'm not going to sign if there's even a single line I do not like. It's a long way into the night when a coldness envelops the room. I suspect, at first, that it's merely just the usual chill, but the heaters have been turned on as the strange sunny weather that's been gracing us as of late has come to an end. The door is barely open, just a crack, though I can shut it in case that might help. Satisfied, though not as much as I would have liked, the room still feels freezing. I make my way back to the mess of documents waiting for me at the table. Just a few more and I can get that well-deserved rest, get out of this place and dive into the warm comforts of my bed. Then maybe, if Hana's still up for it, well, it's more than enough motivation. Parking my rear back on the chair, I begin my work with the last of the blasted papers, more than ready to be done with everything and turn in for the night. Only for another chill to startle me to a stop. And that's when I feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. Eyes boring at the back of my head, a brush of air just at the nape, and when I glance back... Ooh! Reflected in the lone portrait in the room, someone stands behind me, just by the study door I closed moments ago, as though I did not hear it open. Perhaps it is Hana trying to be sneaky, or Shrokin being a bellend of a spook as usual.
Do I really have to ask people to knock before they enter? Seriously now, this is anarchy, and I'll have you know...
I turn, but there's nothing.
Huh. Must have been a trick of the light. Oh, it is getting late, and I should really go to bed myself. Just have to finish looking over a few more contracts, and...
Yes, just finish signing these and I can have some rest. Maybe arrange for a day off in the morning. Sighing, I steel myself for a long night of dry paperwork. Still, the feeling that I'm being watched stays with me all through the night. And with the sun rising comes another disturbance. Both too loud and too sharp for my tastes. I have very fine tastes. The piercing rings of a doorbell reaching even the study, I'm very much inclined to think the person who built this place lacks any sense of it. Perhaps the only good thing is that the ruckus has chased away the needling guilt from last night's commotion, if only temporarily. Still, it's a bloody annoying distraction. I can tell already that's going to be a long day. It hasn't even started. Before the wreck can last even another minute, I'm peeling myself off the chair and heading straight for the main door. There will be murder today if this doesn't let up. How quaint. Seems that everything in this blasted universe is intent on getting on my nerves as of late.
Gordon Bennett! Only a Nancy would knock at such an ungodly hour!
In the first place, I shouldn't be the one doing this. This is why I hired a valet, for fuck's sake.
Where's that damn butler when I need him?
I'll be honest, if only for today. With the mansion this quiet at this hour of the morning, it's easy to believe those little ghost stories might be real. But the only horror here is how odd my wife has been acting as of late. There's no place for fear when another set of problems already burns that fuel. So, I wait for another second. When no butler still answers my call, I simply yank the doors open myself, perhaps with more force than needed. And maybe it should be appropriately there, considering the person on the other side of the hour, and he dared appear on my doorstep. Even someone with half a brain knows not to disturb anyone this early. Brief confusion quickly gives way to anger. Before the bloody photographer can even get a word in, I'm hurling venom at him. It's less than he deserves, really. Hannah will disapprove, scold me for treating the photographer with such disrespect, if she hears me right now. She seems fond of him, after all, despite meeting him only once or twice. He's merely doing his job, she'll say. But she's not here, is she? What she doesn't know...
You? How the hell did you get in here? What in seven hells do you want? It's bloody 6 in the morning!
Listen, sir, I know this is not a good time.
Oh, it's not a good time! Did you even check the clock before coming here? I bet you didn't!
This is still my home. My rules also apply to this place as much as Hana's do. As simple as that.
Unlike you, the ones living in this house need to sleep.
It just so happens it's also a person I will never take a liking to. No need for remorse.
Come back when people are actually awake, or I'll call security on you.
He continues shouting even as I slam the door in his face. Some nonsense about the news lately, though I don't understand most of it. However, with the closed doors muffling the better part of it, and with no ears to listen, his tirade doesn't last too long. Eventually, he leaves and silence once again fills the room, as it should. In hindsight, maybe I should also call for psychiatric services. He certainly sounds mental just screaming like that. A suspicious man like him left roaming the imminent grounds? Nothing good can come of it. But if his presence will indeed bring a problem, a sign of bad things to come, I'll probably know soon enough. Worst comes to worst, Shulkin will take care of it, if need be. That's what I'm praying him for. In the meantime, I need rest, even for just a few hours. My lovely wife's still fast asleep when I finally join her in our bed. She feels a tad warm to the touch too, but it's nothing to worry about, I hope. As odd as she's been acting lately, her company's nice after spending long, grueling hours going through business documents. Then again, it's not like I'd be losing out much if I take a break or two. In fact, all I have to do is say the word and Advanced General Electronics stocks are going to go down. That's the least I can do after Rochelle Vance's outburst during the party. I wonder if we're going to find out if that's true or not. I highly doubt she will be Rochelle Lee for long. None of Harvey has any sense in him. So, with a sigh, I drift off, setting aside my problems if only for a few hours. Not long into it, though, perhaps only a few minutes in my mind, a knock interrupts my attempt at getting some rest. Oh, fuck. Checking the time on my phone, however, shows that it's just 8:30. Still too tired, but what can I do about it? Getting up is an entirely different problem on its own. Waking up after getting only a few hours of sleep in has my body stiff and sore and my mind feeling lethargic. A part of me wants to go back and doze off again, an alien feeling to me. But it's already far too late for my taste, and on the second round of knocks, I reluctantly peel myself off the bed and answer the door. Only to be greeted by none other than Shulkin and his grumpy face. The sight of it is enough to dampen my own irritation, and I can only follow when he gestures towards the hallway. Oh, fuck. 'Cause this is gonna be, hey, you have an intruder. Shit. I have questions as to why he would bother me at this hour of the morning. But going by the grim, or rather grimmer than usual air about him, it must be something serious. The man stands there as relaxed and as cool as can be, but his eyes hold an intensity that promises nothing but trouble.
I do hope I wasn't interrupting anything.
Well, I did want to sleep, but apparently the world conspires against me. What do you want?
If you wish to sleep so badly, feel free to tuck yourself back in bed. I thought you ought to know that we've had an intruder.
I'm so sorry, Zach. And sue me if that doesn't pique my curiosity. Intruders, thieves who would dare set foot in my house to try to rob me, were rare. If they had any form of experience, they'd have an idea not to mess with the rights, no matter how tempting our riches may be. But that did not mean attempted robberies did not happen. What was strange about this one is the fact that Shulkin thought it was important important to bring to my attention. Oftentimes, I deal with pests because I wouldn't really care how they take care of it, so...
This needs my attention, why? Are they any danger?
Actually, I think I'll let you be the judge of that. He's down in the parlor. Come on.
I glance at the bedroom door, hoping to goodness that Hana will remain fast asleep before following him downstairs. Through the foyer. And into the parlor where a familiar man sits unconscious, tied to one of the chairs.
I thought I heard something scurrying around. As it turns out, it's a giant rat. And one that had pretended to be a harmless mouse, too.
I'm so sorry, Zach. I'm so sorry I didn't think it would turn out this way. I should have just waited for Ash.
And he's still alive, isn't he?
It's hard to tell, with the way his body is too still, breathes too light. But it is there, the subtle rise and fall of his chest. Its presence lets me breathe a sigh of relief. A death caused by one of my men is normal. To be expected, really. A dead body I can deal with. It'll just be one of the many I've seen. But if one turns up while the missus is at home, I'm not too thrilled with the idea.
I saw no reason to do more than incapacitate him. So yes, the man is still alive. Of course, that can be remedied if you wish.
No, this is fine. He wasn't trying to kill us, was he?
If he was wholly unprepared. But I do not think he had such nefarious purposes. He is a big man, but he seems too soft to be a hired killer. A common trespasser or petty thief, maybe. Certainly nothing more.
If a petty thief dares to try anything against me, people are forgetting their place. He's to be made an example of. A guy slacks off for once and everyone thinks they can get away with taking advantage. His thieving ways is going to be his one-way ticket behind bars. It's only as my anger washes away that I realize the sun is starting to rise off the horizon. And I can only feel annoyance at myself for missing another night of sleep.
Call the police then. Let them round him up and bring me some bloody coffee while you're at it.
Thankfully, he leaves me to my own simmering as I take one of the free seats. And, while waiting for my drink, I find myself staring at this man. Oh, Zach, I'm so sorry. Why did I not just wait? I should have... Oh, I am the dumb person who makes a dumb decision in a horror movie. And, as it always does when I'm in such a situation, the power I wield hits me like an unnatural high. It's something else where I can hold a man's life in my hand without resorting to murder. A person is as good as incarcerated the moment I sent them Harvey's way. And this makes me wonder if I can make luxury living grovel, beg for my forgiveness because of the crime committed against me by one of their staff. Deep in my thoughts, stuck in this power trip that rushes through me, I barely notice we have company until Shrokin puts a cup of coffee in my hands.
Officer Carl and his colleague are here to collect. They'll want your statement.
And, as he says, there are 2 officers by the door. Though I can't even bother to spare them the slightest glance before looking back at the unconscious... Gollywog?
If they need my statement, I'll give it to their chief. I'm due a visit to a good friend anyway.
After my coffee and a bit of breakfast, of course. Once I'm done breaking my fast and after a cool shower, I call for Shrokin to drive me to the police station so that I can give my statement. Through it all, Hana still slumbers. The way she remains undisturbed even with the commotion, you'll think she has somehow contracted a sickness of some sort over the night. And true enough, the moment I'm back, my hand touches her forehead. She's burning up. Sorry, got interrupted for work. Hang on. Okay, hopefully, I won't get interrupted again. Anyway, it's unfortunate there's no time to worry about this, as much as I want to care for her. There's urgent business demanding my attention elsewhere. And with the rest of the staff away, well... Our marriage may have gone through a rough patch recently, but I still do feel as if I'm neglecting her like this. It doesn't help that the only thing I can do for now is place a cloth dipped in warm water on her forehead and leave a bottle of medicine on her bedside. And instruct Shrokin to schedule an immediate appointment to her physician. I just hope that the trip to the city won't take much of my time. Or further ruin my mood. The ride to the precinct is a quiet affair. I'm in no mood for idle chatter with what little sleep I've had. Oh, shit. Not everything is smooth sailing, however, as soon as I arrive at the precinct, either. But, as they say, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. I'd be more suspicious if everything had gone without a ruckus. And it would be more boring, too. Because who doesn't love a good fight and a bit of drama? There's nothing quite like beating your opponent down and making them learn who's boss. If life just slumped over, there'd be no point in even trying, but I'd be much happier if the trouble life threw at me didn't include ruining my suit. Life, in this case, is the estate agent Lily, who had the audacity to throw water at me.
You bloody...
It's been a pleasure doing business with you, sir.
Who even does that? That third world country woman who's gotten too big for her britches, that's who. This is a Zedon X5, and the whole ensemble cost me 40,000 pounds. Why the fuck does clothing cost that much? I could charge her for water damages to the tie alone and have her begging down on her knees for my forgiveness. That Lily girl, really now. If I hadn't heard that the company she works for is closing, I'd talk to her manager and have her fired. Oh, good. A graceful exit into the police chief's room was all I could muster in the face of such insult. My mood was further soured by the fact that I can still see the rest of the precinct from here. At the very least, Johans is making himself useful and standing outside the door to make sure no one enters unannounced. And now here I am, dabbing a handkerchief at my wet suit, to no avail. It had to be given to one of the maids to clean as soon as I got home. This is just horrible. The interlining is going to pucker and pull and ugh. But at least it's not wine, I suppose.
I'm so sorry about what happened out there, mate. But you know how it is with these officers. All testosterone and ranking.
Well, you need to learn how to keep your men in line better, mate. But I didn't come here to talk about these hot-headed daft villains. They could be dead from the neck up for all I care.
He has a propensity to forget one tiny detail. I own him. I want to seethe and rage and remind him who exactly the boss here is. I very well can, thanks to the wonders of soundproofing. But the stressed and nervous expression on his face stops me from giving him a tongue lashing. It would really do me no good to be at odds. It would really do me no good to be at odds with me when he does prove to be a useful ally from time to time. So I listen when he speaks, focusing on the smell of coffee and cigarettes that fill the room in order to curb my tongue. For now. But boy, when you let a man like Harvey Lee speak, he speaks a lot.
Look, all I'm asking is that you be a bit patient with them. You do realize a good chunk of them don't work. They aren't with you, so to speak. Bunch of kids who think the police are superheroes or some cock and bull. They don't know how things work around here. Especially that Frey boy. The lot of them are just tired.
And why are you telling me this?
I was going to ask you if you knew anything about it. Perhaps one of yours know. There's been a string of unfortunate incidents as of late. Just recently, some bloke named Christian C was acting all nuts.
Thank you, game, for glitching.
Off his rocker, that man. And we had to hold him, thought he was drunk. Up until he started bashing his brains in. Now he's a vegetable in a hospital bed. Another time, some Mark Julius was reported missing. Some are thinking we've got a serial killer on our hands as of late. That Cooper lady from BRC got done in, and a Father Norman, too.
Oh, shit.
You have to understand, mate. In a place as peaceful as Luxburn, this makes people wary. Reported crime rates go a bit higher than usual, and it makes them antsy and temperamental.
Are you implying that I have anything to do with them? Because as much as I hate to say it and admit, I am out of the loop. This is the first I've heard of these incidents.
Really, I'd say I'm insulted, but this is par for the course. Harvey knows who and what I am. We have a deal of sorts, after all. Crime is always experienced in a society with laws and the humans who are allowed their free will. But why not strike a deal with the devil to make sure that said crime has some order, at least?
Ah, well, that's a shame, I suppose. Figured if we could get any leads, it'd be from you.
I can't stop the scoff that leaves me. Can these police officers really be so incompetent? The chief of the damn police force seems to find it amusing, however. Because as far as I can see, whether he believes it or not, he's got it easy in our little deal. He just has to sit back and relax, let me do my thing and not turn against me while he gets to live a comfy life. But perhaps that's why I haven't killed him off yet. His predecessor on the position wasn't so agreeable.
You know, someday I'll stop turning in my own men when they piss me off. And what will you do then? You and your men will all be lost without me.
I'll just hope that when the time comes, I'll already be all wrinkly and retired then.
It's a play of his. It always is. To act all casual and chuckling at everything like it doesn't faze him. Pretends he's one of those kind, wise old men types so people can't bring themselves to be angry at him. But I've seen him drink his arse bemoaning his fate, what he's become, though he tries to be as vague as he can even in his inebriated state. And I've seen the malice this man is capable of. That's why it confuses me with how he reacts to what I say next.
So what is our little gollywog looking at?
Now there's never a time or place for that kind of racist talk, son.
He cuts me off in a firm tone before I can say anything further. There's a steel in his eyes, and he near slams his fist on the table when he does. And I can't but sigh, realizing that he's going to go through one of his self-righteous streaks, as rare as they may be.
You know our little deal ties up my hands when it comes to a lot of things with you. But I hear that Steele is a good kid, and I ask you at least show a bit of respect.
He's a felon. I think I'm entitled to call him what I please. I don't owe him any respect at all.
In my pocket, he may be, but he still chose the path of the policeman himself when he was a young man. And I bet it just boils his blood that he has to deal with the likes of me. But I, in turn, hate this side of him that makes him think that he's still some do-gooder, some hero of justice. Because spineless fools were useful. Self-righteous ones forced me to do away with them eventually.
You put plenty of your own white men in jail. I don't see you calling them white cracker or whatever lingo they have nowadays. And if not respect, you can at least owe the lads some basic human decency.
Whatever. But if you gotta stick up your ass about it, I'll concede. He's going behind bars either way, for however long that is.
Besides, what does it matter if he's black or white? The color of his skin doesn't change anything about current circumstances. It's a trifle matter to argue over.
It's 6 months and a fine worth 5,000 for breaking and entering. Unless you'd be willing to go easy on the guy. Let him bump it down to a misdemeanor and juvenile offense. We'll be giving him probation and charge him for the damages.
And that's it?
That's it. That's what a white man gets, and that's what he gets too. Unless you're going to stir up a fuss and make a big deal out of this.
In case you've forgotten, I do what I want, Lee. I don't even see why you protect the man. He's nothing but a petty thief.
And won't that look bad on you? The Luke Wright, getting his panties in a bunch over a petty thief. You said it yourself. He's nothing. Not worth your attention or effort. So why don't you just let me handle it like I'm supposed to?
And I do hate to say it, but he's got me there. I hate that all this power comes from a great balancing act. Be too lax and people think that they can get away with the smallest of things. Be too harsh and people will... well, they will not work with me for long, and that's never a good thing in the long term. And it shows on me poorly if I were to fuss over such an insignificant little maggot.
Now is that all you're here for?
Well, there is another thing I want to ask.
What? Can't I visit a friend? That detective. Feathers. Should I be concerned about him? He seemed keen.
Feathers? Oh, you mean Frey? Nah, he's not really anything to worry about. I got him assigned to your case to make the whole thing believable. The boy's a good detective, one of the best I have on the force. But he won't be able to do shit with all the red tape tying him up. In fact, the higher-ups just took him off your tail.
The case against me? I still have one? Harvey, my dear old friend, have you been slacking off? Surely I told you to take care of that sort of thing. Surely it shouldn't have taken you this long. Surely it should be quiet by now on your end. They shouldn't be assigning anything to what's supposed to be a cold case.
I doubt you've got anything to really worry about unless you go out there and announce the shit you've done. They don't want to accuse the most powerful man in Luxburn without being 100% sure about things, of course.
The way he goes about it so nonchalantly.
But it's because of that company problem Suarez has been talking about. Can't believe that's still a thing. You think the geek would have figured it out by now? He's supposed to be a computer genius. Don't go blaming me for it. He's the one slacking off, if you ask me. Don't you be pointing fingers my way.
And has Suarez mentioned anything new about that?
You'd have to ask him about it. You know I don't understand half the technical computer mumbo-jumbo the guy goes on about. It's like the guy speaks a whole other language. Which, technically he does, but you know what I mean.
I just noticed in the background. Is that a rotary phone? Holy shit.
Yes, I suppose you have a point. Very well, if you haven't got anything else useful for me, I might as well head home. Get some bloody peace and quiet.
Oh, I have a feeling you're gonna definitely get some fucking peace and quiet. If all the staff are gone. I could have some tea, maybe some whiskey and a nap, and I'll be right as rain. At least one of us should get some good R&R, because it's not like Harvey isn't going to get any. Especially now that his darling wife has left him. I'll be making him busy, as punishment for his slacking off and for her disrespect too. Really, I pity the poor old man. Maybe I should send him a gift basket. Perhaps more caffeine and smokes to help him along with his bad habits. Before I can leave the precinct, however, a shoulder bumps into mine. I wait for an apology. And I wait.
Excuse me.
Oh no! Andrew! Oh no. There's a twitch in my eye that I can't hide as I look back at the rude old bastard. Especially not when all he does is look at me back as if it's the first time he's seen me. As if he hadn't just nearly shoved me over with his big lump of a body.
You're excused.
The way he says it, the way he looks at me, it leaves me feeling so cold, and I have this gut feeling telling me I should know him. But it doesn't even let me get a word in when he disappears through a door.
A bloody wanker.
Stepping out from the chaos, I let in a breath of fresh air, or as fresh as it's going to get in a city. I do hate going to the precinct. It's a fucking zoo filled with animals, people who step in included. But it's not like the city is any better. Humans are just a higher form of animals after all. We all delude ourselves into thinking otherwise. And I call up the car to take me away from it all. Though I can't bring myself to step inside the house when I do get home. Hana still rests, I assume. I hear nothing to say otherwise. Not her voice or her laughter, which easily fill any space with cheer. Everything is quiet, other than the hum of engines from the car being brought away. A bird's cry sounds off from the gardens, snapping me out of my reverie, and makes me look in that direction. It's an easy decision to go there. If Hana is still resting, recovering from sickness, I don't want to disturb her, with how agitated and annoyed I am underneath the surface. No matter how well hidden, I can keep it. Not to mention, I've been neglecting the garden for too long. Might as well stay put out here for the time being. Gray skies loom over the horizon, though the sun fights for every precious minute it gets to stay. It rains again soon, with the wind bringing along the gloomy clouds normal to Luxburn. Until then, it doesn't hurt to be out there for fresh air and sunshine. I walk to the gardens, what little there is at the moment anyway, and kneel by the daffodils. These are the first to be brought here and planted upon my request. And, if nothing else, they've brought a sense of peace. They were Mother's favorites. Closing my eyes, I lift up my chin to welcome the light that shines upon me. And, for a minute, I can imagine myself as one of the flowers, peaceful, blooming, and all too happy to stand in this warmth. Life would be much easier if we were all like flowers, wouldn't it? But I didn't step out here to get all philosophical. I have problems much more practical than figuring out the meaning of life, after all. Too many things have gone on these past few days, and I want to forget about them, even if for a moment.
It's almost all saints, isn't it? To think I've almost forgotten.
I speak the words absent-mindedly. The date means nothing to me, as I neither worship the religion nor have any graves to visit. After all, Mother was never given a proper burial. But it's a date as good as any for me to grieve. Otherwise, I would have done so every single day, crippling myself and shutting everyone else out. I can still remember how the flames licked at her flesh and how it consumed her body, until there was nothing left but ash. I stood there watching with the operator and a social service worker, though I could have been alone for all I cared. I felt alone. It was the most that could be done. No one would attend a funeral of a dead prostitute, let alone pay for it. All that was left of her, proof that she had lived, is her name written on the ledge of Luxburn Cemetery, a lighter, and me. Pulling out the lighter from my jacket, I can't stop myself from flicking it open to stare at the flame and run my thumb over her name. All in all, it isn't much, but it's something. And it'll be wrong of me not to make something of myself when she would have given everything to make sure I can become anything I want to be.
Feels like I'm stuck in a nightmare right now. What I would give to have you here by my side, Mother dear. To see you smiling at me. Alive and as beautiful as ever. I'm afraid I'm starting to forget what your face looks like. I've already forgotten the shade of your hair.
Eleanor Chandler was a wonderful woman, though not everyone would have agreed. Not everyone had seen past her occupation, past her vices and her illness. All they saw was a poor woman who sold her body to make ends meet, and had a bastard son because of it. They didn't see the mother who worked hard to put food on the table for me, the mother who gave and gave and gave to me while expecting nothing in return. She taught me the merits of hard work, but, though I loved her so, I worked hard for myself. I would not be so foolish, so selfless towards people who would never give back. I learned that from the father who plucked me out of an orphanage for his own selfish gain. I pocket the lighter before I can feel the urge to actually set anything ablaze. Considering my close proximity to the flowers, they would most likely be the victim of arson. Just the thought of itself is blasphemous. Nevertheless, that doesn't save them from being picked, just enough to make a bouquet of things in honor of Eleanor.
Would you be proud of me if you saw me now, Mother? Maybe. You're always so forgiving. No matter what trouble I got into, more than I deserved.
It's been a while since I've talked to my mother like this. They say that even when our loved ones have passed on, they stay to watch over us. Though I believe in neither a heaven nor a hell, a hopeful part of me wishes it were true. As ridiculous as the idea is, I can't but grow still, a chill going up my spine, when I do feel eyes upon me. For a while, I think I'm imagining it, but I'm all too familiar with the sensation of being watched. Carefully, I scan my surroundings, doing my best not to give away the fact that I'm aware of their presence, whoever they are. But there's not a soul in sight on the field surrounding the mansion. Yet, on the balcony overlooking the garden... Huh. She stands there, and though I can't see her face clearly from afar, I know she's the one staring at me. A servant, if one were to judge by her clothing. From this distance, I can't discern what those stains on her clothing are. The woman gives off a rabid air and simply did not belong with her surroundings. That isn't what worries me, though. What worries me is that she isn't one of ours. She can't be. Oh, so this is the other incident, then. Obvious signs of being tattered and dirty state aside, there shouldn't be anyone else in the mansion aside from the three of us. That's the balcony that leads to our bedroom. Forget pretending that I don't notice her.
You! What are you doing there? You're not supposed to be there!
It's a stupid thing to do, I realize in hindsight, but calling attention to it was a spur-of-the-moment plan. From the height, there's no way she would have jumped off the balcony, and perhaps she would only have been able to sneak in there because Hana's asleep. Calling out to her would make Hana, and at the very least, call Johann's attention to the matter at hand. I dread to think of any other way she could have gotten there without Hana calling for us. The woman on the balcony doesn't react, barely even stirs. Probably drug-addled or touched in the head, though that begs the question of how she even managed to get in there. That changes nothing, of course, and doesn't stop me from running back to the mansion.
Shuriken! There's an intruder! In the bedroom! Upstairs! Secure Hana immediately!
Bursting in through the front doors, I'm greeted by Johannes with a kitchen knife in his hands, looking wary and alert. There's a question in his lips for a moment, but he's quick to fall into place, giving me a curt nod before rushing up the foyer stairs. Except there's gonna be nothing. Oh. No, actually, no. There's no secondhand embarrassment. Fuck this guy. Nah. Nah. Fuck it. He can look crazy for all I fucking care. I don't give a shit. The woman would need to go through us to get anywhere, and between me and the butler, there's no way she's getting away. There's no announcing ourselves as I slam the bedroom door open, expecting to see the woman worst inside. When we find Hana simply seated at her vanity without a care in the world, my relief can't be any greater. I don't even question why she's well enough to be moving around just yet, but that is soon followed by suspicion and caution. Without a word, I signal for Johannes to search through the room for the intruder, even going so far as to slip into the second bedroom. She could have gone anywhere else, not without getting our attention, not without Hana noticing. It isn't too far-fetched to think that she may have been coerced to act like nothing is out of the ordinary. If she's being forced into this, she'd be able to tell me without alerting the criminal. We should be ready for such things, after all, being the wealthy, powerful, and influential people we are. And though I hesitate to break her peace, to make her worry any more than she has any right to be, I know that matters of safety shouldn't be taken so lightly. Even if I could just content myself in just watching her.
Are you alright, Hana?
There's a moment of silence as she fastens a cord around her neck, and with her back still turned to me, she replies as calmly as can be.
Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? Is there something wrong?
There's no sign of coercion or deceit. She gives none. Everything looks fine, seems fine. Hana says as much. Stepping out into the balcony doesn't say anything different. Doesn't say anything differently. The outside is devoid of signs of another human life with how secluded the property is. Though it is hard to be sure with how the sun is set, trying to locate anyone on the large property by myself would be futile. Whether it is the truth or a convenient lie, one can only assume that everything is alright. And even Johannes is in agreement.
There's nobody in the second bedroom or in the closet. It's all clear.
Yet, I can't fight off the awful feeling that has taken over me.
Are you sure? Nobody? Double check. Triple check everything. Check the whole house if you have to.
What's going on? What is all this then?
He claims to have seen an intruder standing on your balcony. Did you notice anyone here, madam?
No, it's just been me. I've not heard or seen anybody else aside from the two of you all day. Strange.
The others have been given the day off. There shouldn't be anybody else here. Are you sure of what you saw? Perhaps you were...
Yes, I bloody well am sure of what I saw. There was a woman standing there, dark hair and in servant's clothing. Are you insinuating that I am making things up? That I'm going mad?
I wish you would.
Because if you are, I don't care how competent you've been. I won't have such disrespect directed at me. It's not paranoia if people are out to get me.
My anger is easily roused, no thanks to the adrenaline rush that's kicked in sometime I don't know when. I don't think I'll ever get used to this feeling, really. No matter how many times I've had to rely on it to survive on the streets as a child, to survive everything with how high I've managed to prop myself up, and I take any and all threats to my person seriously.
I'm not implying that you're mad. The occasional hallucination is a completely normal and human experience, as long as it isn't a repeat occurrence.
Oh, so what? That was a trick of the light? My imagination?
You haven't ingested any alcohol today, have you?
A valid question, but...
I am not drunk.
In my state, I only realize how quiet Hana has gotten when she doesn't joke about my debatable alcoholism. There's no clever quip or words of fond exasperation. She's only been watching me through all this. And when I do notice that, I start feeling bugs crawling on my skin. When I didn't deign to speak further, fixated on the sensation, Johannes cuts in.
Whatever the case, we need to establish tighter security. We should have done so from the start. If you were seeing things, then we got lucky. Had there been a real intruder, we were ill prepared.
Of course. I trust that you can hire the most qualified from the agency.
Are you alright, Hana? You seem disquieted.
I'm well, my love. I was just worried about how the hallucination brought you distress.
It wasn't a hallucination, I'm sure of it. But what can I do to prove otherwise?
It doesn't matter. You are safe, as am I. I overreacted.
Perhaps rest is necessary. It is late into the day, and you must be tired from your gardening.
Before I ask how she knew what I was doing, a small fond smile graces her lips before she brushes away a few yellow petals from my sleeve. But does it really look like I'm that exhausted? I'm sure to be well rested despite it all, and it's not like I've done anything physical exhausting all day. Beyond running here in a hurry, anyway. No doubt I've left a trail of flowers in my mad dash. And I suppose I do look like a mess.
Rest sounds good. I guess I'll need to sleep a lot more than I thought. But
I'll stand guard outside for the night. You two have nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about? I'm not so sure about that. But thinking any more about it isn't going to do anything.
Come on then, my love. Off to bed. I have been restless without you by my side.
Fuck off, Hana. Even then, I can't force away the uneasiness that settles over me. Sleep is hard to attain, and even Hana's embrace does not help. She's still burning up. Halloween! Really, little sleep was had, and I felt completely drained come morning. Even when Hana rises from the bed, in spite of a mild fever, and invites me down to breakfast, I can't be bothered to drag myself out from the comfort of the sheets. It's not like I need to do something particularly important today. The rain that has started sometime during the night doesn't help the mood. Game, I'm not... Okay, maybe it helps a little. The strangely sunny weather has been nice and all, but for it to return to as it should be feels like a good sign of things to come. Perhaps things will settle back down to normal and the crazy drama that has gone on lately will die down. The rhythmic pitter-patter of the rain fills the early morning silence with a steady beat. Thank goodness I don't have to be anywhere in a hurry today. I would hate to be caught unawares in this rain. How it looks outside, it seems that the weather's making up for all the sunny days it's given us with a good old-fashioned downpour. It does let up within the quarter of an hour. However, a day beginning with a cloudburst like this, locals usually take it as an immediate sign. Luxburn's abysmal weather is back, likely for good. I hope they did a damn good job of fixing this place, because I'd rather not have to deal with leaky roofs. Though Hana might find humor in it and perhaps ask me to sing in the rain to wear out my anger, I don't like the idea that the realty did a horrid patch job with the place. Hana technically, paid millions for this place. It better live up to the price that the realty company sold it for. Not that it's something she should be fretting about at the moment, when her health's not the best. Hana's going to be brought to the hospital for a checkup today, and if anything, I prefer that she focuses on getting better. That fever, no matter how slight it is, can't be good for her, what with her odd behavior recently. You'd think she hit her head hard against something while I wasn't looking. Perhaps a proper rest is all she needs, but I'd rather not assume things. I'm a businessman, not a doctor. Wonder of wonders why I even bother agreeing to babysitting duty at that. But here I am, scheduled as today's babysitter for the Suarez brat, once her father drops her off at the mansion steps. Though that is a worry for much, much later. If I wish to, I can ask that nobody bother me while I doze off in a cocoon of comforters. But, as always, someone has to be a buzzkill.
Are you really going to stay in bed all day?
What do you want?
Yeah.
It's far too early to deal with your nosiness.
You must have been really rattled by what happened yesterday. If you need to talk about it, I am quite qualified in that regard.
In a spiritual or psychological sense?
And you aren't even the slightest bit bothered. Truly, not even the slightest bit worried?
I was worried. But I realized that it's not my life in danger, is it? My worrying will not help matters. Neither will yours.
Loath as I am to admit it, he is right. The whole thing might have rattled me, but there is little point in jumping at every shadow I see from the corner of my eye. I shouldn't lose my head for a threat that might not even come. I should know better by now. But I've never been this worried about a possible threat in my life before. I'll be honest here. If anyone is in danger, it's Hana. I can take care of myself just fine. With Security Titan, I'll at least have one guard, if not 5, making sure nobody gets within 10 feet from me without my say-so. Hana, on the other hand, will be away for most of the day to get the fever checked, upon my insistence. It's a small relief that Johans will be with her.
Are there any updates about the woman?
Being in the dark has me on edge. Information, any at all, may very well help me in calming down.
I've already briefed security about her, and more from the agency will be arriving tonight. But they haven't seen anyone fitting the description.
So you have nothing then? Fat lot of use you guys are. What do I even pay you for? Do me a favor. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on your way out.
Can he be any more of a brat?
Well, there is something. It's about McCulloch.
Oh, okay. Now we're getting to this one. Can anyone blame me if I show the tiniest bit of interest? She's still not done with the house, and she's a nice enough woman. Plans to go back to sleep are gone.
I called her secretary about taking the day off. He hasn't heard from her over the weekend.
She's probably passed out after enjoying a pint or 2 or 10 in a bar somewhere. She's an adult. It was the weekend. She's allowed to disappear and not think about work. Fuck. I wish I was passed out after a night of drinking. He does know that mobiles are a thing.
That's all well and good, but she's not answering her mobile either. Mr. Parker will be filling a missing persons case with the police if she doesn't turn up today.
Well, certainly someone must know where she is. Tabs are kept, without fail, on people who come to work with me. Background checks and constant surveillance until they finish their contracts with the rights. Someone say that it's all a bit over the top, but I can't be too safe. Too many want me dead.
What about one of ours? Has anyone seen her? She's pretty hard to miss with how tall the woman is.
See, the funny thing is, no one should have seen her leaving.
The last anyone has seen of her was here, the morning of the party. Your housewarming party.
That isn't good news.
It wouldn't do for the police to hear of this and to suspect.
It's of little import that I can easily prove my innocence. It's all a matter of principle. Because even the accusation of misdemeanor should not stain my reputation. Although, maybe it's a bit too late to hope for a squeaky clean one. Besides, it'll be such a hassle to have the police poking about the house looking for a body that doesn't exist. Well...
Now, if we're done here, I'd like to go back to sleep and...
Where are you?
Tiny child! Well, there goes any plans of me grabbing some shut-eye. Rolling over on my stomach, I can only scream into my pillow.
Of course. Ugh.
Says the tiny child, not using her indoor voice.
Johans, distract her.
Oh, look, it's time for me to go. Have fun with your little play date. So long, farewell, and auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.
No, Johans, don't you turn away from me. Keep her busy for an hour. Come on.
Suffer, Luke. Suffer. I have to press my face against the pillow once more to suppress a groan. You can't just get loyal help anymore.
Hello there, little Fraulein. Your uncle is just upstairs and will be down in a moment. He is super excited to have you today. I hope you're well rested and ready to play a lot.
Johans, I love you.
Bastard. I'll be down in a sec, Munchkin. Let me just...
Change into a fresh shirt, brush my teeth, fix my hair, bemoan my very existence. Wish I was anywhere else in the world right now. That's a mood for getting ready for work. Don't get me wrong, Kylie is a great kid. Better than most brats her age. But handling a tyke is the last thing on my agenda right now with this whole Hana business. Fortunately, I am well versed in how the world works. I've long learned that the show must go on, no matter what hurdles come in my way. So I set to preparing for the day. Running a comb through my hair is just divine and simply makes me feel more human. Bed hair is disgusting, though it isn't as bad as... Bed hair is disgusting, though it isn't as bad now as it was when I was a child. With how expensive a trip to the barber was, I often had to grow it out until my mother had the time to cut it for me. The curls and tangles were simply horrid. Why, I was even mistaken as a little girl because of that. It certainly doesn't help that I was named Lucille. Wait, legit? Is that your name? Huh. Fascinating. A freshly pressed shirt A freshly pressed shirt is enough to chase away the last sign of sleepiness. The feel of crisp and clean cloth on my hands is a clear marker to the start of the day. But something catches my eye. My clothes and personal effects are already set up on the dresser for the day. Boxers, trousers, belt, and socks on one side of my shirt, jacket and tie on the other. It's always the same things. Always. Cufflinks, colognes, and anything else I'd like to add on stays in the dresser for me to choose from. It's all routine. However, among the silvers, the grays, and the red is a tiny blue box.
Now, what is this?
The thing is small and light, fitting in the palm of my hand. Too big to be a ring box, but too large to be a watch box. Looking at it closer, I can see it's one of my handkerchiefs used for wrapping. It's easy enough to untie the knot to reveal a plain box inside. An odd and quaint way to wrap up a gift, I suppose. Though presentation should be the last thing I need to be worried about. Mail, packages, gifts, and the likes are supposed to be vetted before they get to me. In the morning, Johans would hand me a list of things I need to look over and go through, yet there's no forewarning of this. Immediately, I drop the thing as if it burned me.
I shouldn't have touched that. I shouldn't have touched that.
It very well might have. Without security going over it, it could be a nasty gift for me. I can still remember when a security guard died of contact poison that covered an innocent enough birthday card, for fuck's sake. Fucking hell. I don't feel sympathy for you, but fucking hell. But as the box hits the ground, it spills its contents. What I see makes my stomach turn. Oh. Hi. Okay. Alrighty. An eyeball still that's nerve-ending, mucus and all, plops to the ground. I have to fight the urge to gag as it rolls and stares up at me.
Oh god. That's sick. That is sick. It's still wet. My bloody fucking... That is disgusting.
I'm not a stranger to being sent threats, but this has to be the first time I've been sent a body part. Even I don't do that. Yet there's no note or sign as to who may have sent it or how it got here. If this is a threat, it's a piss-poor way of doing it, considering it lacks proper planning outside the shock factor that sending a body part affords them. Do I even know anyone whose eyes are the same shade? Not Hana's, no. Definitely not. They aren't as pretty and aren't the right color. Doesn't he have green eyes? Johans? Mr. or Mrs. Lee? Suarez? Makala? No, the color isn't familiar at all. Though, honestly, it's not like I take the time to memorize each and every person's eye. This could be anyone's, from a guard or a maid or one of the other 100 people I deal with. Kylie can't see this. This kid is tough, but it'll traumatize her. Grabbing the handkerchief that was used for wrapping, I tried to pick up the eyeball to dispose of it. Emphasis on try. Contact, even with the fabric, has me gagging. The thought of it squishing and covering my fingers with the slick and slime make me recoil. But the slightest of touch is enough to make the eyeball roll back towards the bed. And in my mad scramble to grab for it, it rolls even farther under the bed until it's in the smack dab middle. There, it just taunts me. From where it sits out of reach, green iris fixed on me again, perhaps judging my poor attempts to get it.
What the hell with it? I don't have time for this.
I wash my hands of this, quite literally at that. Though I wish it was easier. I I wish it isn't easier said than done. The nagging in the back of my head, the voice that tells me I need to be more cautious about this refuse to push the matter aside. While it is true that it is cause for concern, without demands or anything of the like, worrying will do very little to help. Looking around the room, I try to see if any other presents have been left behind. To my relief, aside from the blue box, nothing else is out of place. The most I can do right now is alert the present security staff about this breach, watch out for any other threats. If they have a message for me, they'll most likely send it with their next gift. Whoever sent this eye, I would assume that it is more to shake me up more than anything else at the moment. Okay, is this a hallucination? I'm kind of wondering. I don't know, like, what the past hallucinations have been, like, auditory and seeing things, right? I don't think there's been necessarily a hallucination of, well, like, there's been, like, the ghostly presence that, like, has, what, like, physically harmed them, but that was, like, the actual ghost spirit, what have you. I don't know. It hasn't been, like, something like this, right? I don't know. It'll be best to act as if it didn't happen. No need to make a child worry about it either. She doesn't need to know. Smoothing down my suit and my hair with a sigh, I steel myself for the horrors. The horrors that come with taking care of a child. While I try to forget the horrors that came in that box.
Good morning to you, Luke.
Speak of the devil, and she shall appear. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, Kylie greens up at me as soon as I open the bedroom door. She swings the backpack she's clutching, hitting my leg with a show of impatience and looking entirely unapologetic for it.
Did you just wake up? Don't tell me you forgot. It's our playdate today.
I doubt I'd forget. Kylie's visits are a frequent enough thing that they've found a way into my schedule. They're supposed to be visits to her godmother. But we can't pick who a child gets along with. So long as I'm not busy, her father can drop her off for the day. Which is all well and good for me, to make Suarez focus on work I've given him. Besides, she's a bright child. Tolerable. Kid's got a good head on her shoulders and can get pretty mature for her age at times. Of course, they have me to thank for that. Her parents can take partial credit, but Hana and I have been there for this kid since she was a small babe. Why, I can still remember the first day I saw her. It was during her baptism. The only reason I was there was to accompany Hana, who was to be named godmother. She was such a tiny thing, not even a year old, and swaddled in her mother's arm in white cloth. It was the first time I really saw an infant up close. Close enough to hold one, at least. It had been terrifying. To be given a little child to carry her after the whole water ceremony. I've never done so before, to hold a tiny life in my arms. I could have dropped her on her head, and this little tyke before me would have stopped existing then and there. But the child just smiled at me, babbling nonsensical words as children do, and clinging to me even as I tried to hand her off to Hana. She had thought it was hilarious and adorable. My suit had been a mess, and I was nearly an anxious wreck by the time I handed her back to her mother. Yet, it was pleasant, too.
Of course I didn't, you little rugrat. I just had to take care of something before you arrived.
Really? Well, I guess that's fine. As long as he told me for work like last time.
Where's ice cream?
Really? Now why don't we go back down and have breakfast in the parlor?
I already ate at home. Papa made one of his tortillas de patatas. He wouldn't let me leave until I finished every bite.
Ah, the Suarez infamous tortilla de patatas. Those things are a hazard. You can probably use one to bludgeon someone into submission with how huge they are. It's a miracle Kylie can still be so energetic. I had trouble staying awake the first time I had one. Speaking of staying awake...
Well, I need some coffee in me at the very least. But if you'd like, you can jump straight to dessert.
Yes! Dessert, please!
It's easy enough to manage Kylie with the promise of sweets, thankfully. The hard part is managing her before she gets sweets, because I nearly had a heart attack when the kid races down the stairs. Just the thought of her slipping and breaking her neck is enough to make me rush down after her.
Oh, slow down! The food isn't going anywhere.
The food is going somewhere. In my tummy.
Jesus fucking Christ. Children.
With a shake of my head, I usher Kylie towards the parlor and order a maid to bring food for us. Whatever breakfast there is, along with a cup of coffee for me and an ice cream for Kylie. But I can't leave the kid alone for too long, unless I want her to turn the other room into a slaughter ground. True to my expectations, I've only left Kylie alone for a few minutes, but she's already made herself comfortable. The stuff from her backpack has been left scattered across the room, from coloring books to crayons to toys. She's well equipped to amuse herself with no trouble, though I can certainly breathe a little easier if she wouldn't bring her doll around every time she visits. Narcissa, or Sissa is a creepy little bugger. It doesn't help that Kylie left her during one. Finding the thing at the bottom of the stairs, staring up at me at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning is a memory that won't be leaving me anytime soon. Even now, it stares at me from where it's seated. I'm only tempted just to throw the thing into the fireplace and banish it from whence it came. I could buy her a prettier doll, a better toy. I will break it and find a way to get rid of it. If it wasn't for Hana, and if only Kylie wasn't so attached to it. I think of some antique doll she found for the brat's 6th birthday. One of a kind. My darling Hana loves her so. And Kylie does try to be a good goddaughter, but she just can't keep her interest long with the wife. It's not something that Hana does wrong on her part. She does try to be she does try so very, very hard. It's just that she doesn't quite know how to really handle children. She'd never really been around other children when she was young, surrounded by protective adults who catered her every whim and worried for her safety every minute. When she isn't able to keep up with Kylie, her instinct is to be strict. Impose rules on the child, treat her as if she's made of spun glass, like every moment might break her. I, at least, have some idea from being around street kids. I know the games they've played and how they think. I know that scraps and skin needs are all part of childhood. Scrapes. Even with how I grew up, I had time to be a child and not some sheltered Harris. With Kylie, as behaved as she can be, with her toys and her books and arts, she has to use up all her energy somehow. To run around the playground and make a mess in the mud, or even just to fake wrestle for a short while. Let her be a child when she wants, I'll say. If it becomes too much, just bribe her with some sweets or ship her back to her papa. Problem solved. Unfortunately, Hana isn't quite up for those sorts of things most of the time, thinking it'll spoil the child. It turns a whole playdate awkward every time. Taking the last seat left, I pluck one of her coloring books from the table to see it filled with dinosaurs. Not exactly what I expect to see for a little girl, but doesn't hurt anyone. If she wants to play with dolls or cars, or dolls with their cars, what do I care? She once put a doll's tutus on her model cars even.
Oh, this is a new one. The last one you had was filled with horses, wasn't it?
Those were ponies, Tio. They're much cuter than horses.
Same fucking difference, tiny child.
But we went to a dinosaur zoo, and it was awesome! Very,
Game?
dinosaurs are my favorite.
I have no idea what that is, but it must be something. I'm only familiar with the T-Rex myself.
Yeah, they found, fossils of its claws. They're really long.
Dang.
They think the whole theory might be a bazillion meters tall, even bigger than a T-Rex.
Holy shit, something fucking bigger than a T-Rex? What the fuck?
Sisa says it'll be big enough to eat all of my classmates.
She only laughs as I scrunch up my nose and grimace.
Takako says you're making a really funny face.
Yeah? Yeah, she says that? Oh no.
Taka who?
Takako, a friend I made.
Oh, that's not a friend you made, tiny child. I have to stop and look around, expecting one of the help to be here. The child does have a way of befriending just about anyone, as long as she puts her mind to it. Yet the two of us are completely alone. Thankfully, she only finds my disturbed look as another funny, grown-up expression. That might be a little bit more problematic than whatever she plays with dolls or cars, though. Both the thoughts of Sisa giving Kylie ideas, and one of said ideas being massacred by dinosaur. Something I probably need to bring up with her father, aside from work. But beyond murderous dinosaurs, creepy dolls, and imaginary friends, I find no trouble with Kylie. She's as energetic and precocious as any tyke her age can be. She's an angel if she can get comfy and settled in after getting her sweets. Oh, that looks good. We tuck into our waffles as soon as food is brought in. Our waffles because she wanted her own plate to go with the ice cream as soon as she saw mine. A fresh plate of berries is also brought in as well, which really goes great with the rest of this feast, as Kylie puts it. And if I indulge in the sweetness, I have a cup of black coffee to pair it off with. With her bellies full, Kylie grows content with just scribbling on pieces of paper and calmly chatting about her week. She talks of her older brother Rowan and their parents, how they plan to go to the Bloxland in Berkshire for the winter holidays. She talks of Miss Pink and I have to shift my legs to become comfortable once more. The memory of my initial meeting with her is still fresh in my mind. She talks of the sad man in the park and of her new friend who likes to play hide and seek when she's not sniffling in the loo. When finally she finds nothing new to talk about, she goes back to her drawings. That'll change as soon as her stomach settles, of course. The calm before the storm. Because, behaved as she is right now, I can feel the curiosity just radiating off her. There's a restlessness buzzing under her skin, and a question on the tip of her tongue as they often are with children her age. But, for now, I can take this piece with no complaint for however long it stays. I have fun with the crayons as well, at the child's insistence, even if I can't really draw. With Kylie using the black crayon, that leaves me with the blue one. I absent-mindedly start to draw a puppy to the best of my abilities. It's as I attempt to give It's as I attempt to give the doodle dogs another eye when Kylie breaks her silence.
Tio? Where did Tia go? I saw them leave when I got here. Tia didn't look so good.
I've been expecting a lot of different questions. The kid always has a whole bunch of them ready for me, but I can only sigh when she posed this particular one.
She's just going to the doctor's for a checkup.
And as kids go, there are follow-up questions.
And you didn't go with her?
Well, you were going to be here, sweetie, so I had to stay behind.
So she's all alone? At the hospital?
Oh, no, of course not. Tia has Johannes and her maid and a guard. She's got plenty of company.
Yeah, but you're not with her.
Oh, Kylie, you sweet child. If I didn't know better, I'd say the kid is trying to make me feel guilty. I want to say that the little tyke is evil for making me feel so.
But I understand. When I get sick, Papa and Mama have to leave me with their maids, too.
Oh, they don't take care of you?
That doesn't sound right. Even my mom took care of me when I was sick as a child.
Well, they're always busy with work.
Oh.
Oh, I see. I guess that's no good.
I know she doesn't mean to accuse me of anything, but as her father's boss, maybe I do overwork Suarez a bit. There's a lot of responsibilities that only he's capable of carrying out. Delegation is a thing, sure, but when said responsibilities are legally questionable at best, putting others to the task isn't always an option. But
maybe your papa is in need of some vacation time. He deserves it, doesn't he? He's a hard worker. I could arrange something for the holidays.
I could cut him some slack. Some of his assignments can wait. I can't do much for her mom. She isn't one of my employees, but this would have to suffice. It'll be worth it if it makes the little girl happy, because just like that, the somber look on her face turns into one of pure joy. It's like looking at a little sun, warm and bright. It's nice to do something kind every now and then.
Would you really, Tio?
Would you like that?
I'd like that very much, yeah.
Oh!
We can go to this museum. There's one with lots of cool trains and planes. I like trains.
Oh, I love her.
And there's the local Manor theme park and a monkey forest. There's a kid adventure farm too, the wacky warehouse, and a play barn as well. And
Whoa, slow down there, Munchkin. I know you're excited, but I think you should let me schedule your dad's day off before you plan a whole year's worth of stuff.
There's an embarrassed giggle, but she does reel herself in, enough to calm down, which is a feat in and of itself. It's obvious how giddy she is. And if she wasn't looking forward to the holidays before, like any child should, she does now.
I think Tia would be really happy if you were with her. You could have told me you needed to go to the hospital with her, Teal. I won't be angry.
Oh, stop it, child. You're so good.
I'd love to be with her, but I wanted to spend time with you, Munchkin. And she told me to stay. Besides, I don't like hospitals. They always smell like alcohol. Not the good kind either.
I don't think anybody likes hospitals. They're scary. But you said Tia is brave and strong.
That she is.
A content silence comes over us as we go back to scribbling. Though, I stop when I'm done with my blue dog, cringing at how awful it looks. Kylie reprimands me for that because I should be like her. The little tyke goes through several sheets of paper, one drawing after another. Practicing, she says, because practice makes perfect. Not to mention, there's a drawing contest coming up in class and she just has to beat Tim from Class D, who says girls can't be superheroes. The clay gets a turn too, where we start sculpting food and pretending we're Michelin chefs. When we're too tired from tossing pizza and making cakes, there's no trouble in finding another activity more relaxing for the both of us. I find myself invested in reading The Picture of Dorian Gray once more. Often, I lose myself in the pages of the book. However, it is rather difficult to do so when I'm also trying to keep an eye and an ear out for Kylie. I've been reading the same paragraph over and over again, even. Inexplicably, I can feel my skin crawl when the girl sits with Narcissa by the parlor's fireplace, humming, singing. Though I ignore it long enough to hear only the tail end of the song.
Everything is up in flames, up in flames, up in flames. Everything is up in flames, my fair lady.
I don't think I can spend any more time with Kylie considering how highly strung I feel. So it's a good thing that Suarez came for her as soon as I've called. Though it is earlier than the agreed upon time, he voices no complaints. The bastard even has a look of relief as soon as they left. Or, at least, I interpret it as such from when I've stood by one of the windows, not bothering to step out and greet the man. No doubt he still doesn't trust me around his spawn. Well, he has every right to be suspicious of me. I am a dangerous man, after all. But, to my chagrin, that leaves me with the rest of the day with nothing to do. Well, aside from picking up the mess Kylie left scattered about in the parlor, to my immense, immense relief, she remembered to take her doll home with her this time. But the same cannot be said of the crayons and papers littered here and there. First things first. I snatch my own doodle off the table and rip it to shreds, leaving no hope that it will see the light of day. The rest of the drawings, all Kylie's, remain unharmed as I collect a lot. I kind of wish we could have seen how bad it was. Though they have been stacked neatly on the table before, they must have blown about when I saw Kylie off. And there are plenty of them. From cats and cakes to colorful rainbows and gardens, the child managed to make a lot during her morning here. There is one more that I have to fish out of the fireplace where it landed. Expecting to see another one of Kylie's masterpieces, I'm instead greeted with something a bit more concerning. Ah, there we go. And that confirms that Takako is the one that's haunting the place. Cool. Love it. Awesome. Fantastic. Oh, that leaves me with such a happy, warm feeling. Aren't they just the perfect family? There's me, and then there's Kylie. The two of us, side by side, smiling at our stick figure selves, stand in a nondescript field. That much I can ascertain without looking at the labels below the doodle's feet. But a third figure stands next to me in the drawing. A woman, with her face hidden behind a curtain of black. Takako, the writing under her supplies.
Takako says you're making a really funny face.
One big happy family. See, there we go.
Taka who?
Takako, a friend I made.
The hairs on the back of my neck stand on and oh, I hear the whispers. And I feel a chill go down my spine. A breath. That isn't mine. That has me turning around, expecting, hoping to see someone, anyone, but nothing. And that's when I hear it. Laughter. Sweet and merry laughter ringing from the ballroom. Thinking about it has my cheeks burning, my blood running hot. It's as if I'm being mocked. As I stomp towards the door, I have to stop myself from shouting up a storm. I expect to see some of the help tallying about idle from their duties. Perhaps they thought they can slack off with their duties with the head butler around in my preoccupation with Kylie. Well, they had another thing coming. But again, nothing. Nothing from what I can see with a cursory glance, at the very least. I roam around, looking for the near impossible hiding places, and still, I am all alone. Yet I can still hear the laughter, that accursed laughter, echoing in the room, in my head.
Who's there? Show yourselves and show some respect to the master of the house!
Cold uneasiness settles in my stomach when no one answers. I stumble on my own 2 feet, feeling a wave of nausea coming from nowhere. I have to put a hand against the wall to stay upright when the world shifts and pain explodes from behind my eyes. It takes every ounce of my self-control not to heave then and there. The only thing my pride allowed me to do then is close my eyes and attempt to alleviate some of the pain. Vague, unfamiliar images, dare I say memories not mine, flash in my head, unbidden and unwelcome. Like a strong hammer strike to the head, threatening to crack my skull and split it in two. Whatever emotions they hold are muted. I am nothing but a spectator. Still, its weight feels palpable. Though it doesn't take long for these sensations to get to my head. Through my eyes and ears, it creeps and buzzes in the spaces between. It hurts. She doesn't want this.
You lacked care. You forget your place, and you've indulged yourself far too much in this fantasy of yours.
This is vile. Like vomit and sludge brushing against my skin before it covers me and I'm weighed down. Disgusting. Wrong. Stop it.
You've overstepped your boundaries and livery.
Stop it. This is wrong. Please.
May I remind you that you are nothing but a servant, a slave, an unattractive, unchaste harlot who thinks too much of herself.
Please, no more. One after the other, they come at me, an unending flood that threatens to sweep me away for what feels like an eternity. Each one, a show of both joy and suffering for those who have called this mansion their home. Each new scene is like a hammer to the head, threatening to crack my skull and split it in two. I can feel every little emotion in the blurry images that present itself in my head. I feel a part of these, like I've lived through them, though I know that is not possible. All their anger burns through me, that much is evident. But the pain more so. And above all, are the whispers. The voices calling, luring, until one image emerges in a vivid contrast with the others. When there's a shout of joy, my eyes snap open, looking for the culprit. That's when the whole room just changes. Everything's the same, yet everything isn't. Okay, I'm wondering, because we got the memory fragment with that specific CG, I'm wondering if, while he's talking about, like, the whole, like, these memories, if it would showcase each one of them, because I missed every single memory fragment except that one. And assuming they come at, like, it's not randomized, randomized is the wrong word, assuming it's in, like, sequential order of when you obtain them, I missed a lot. It's fine. But I'm wondering if that would just add on to that section? I don't know. There are people everywhere, laughing and dancing. I should be concerned about them, but my mind finds it easy to dismiss them as they fade in and out from nothingness. Instead, I find my concentration drawn to a man and a woman, though one can only call them a lord and lady, going by their clothes. And oh, just how happy the couple looks. The man's eyes are eerily blank, like he's not all there. His face is familiar, though. In fact, they both are, but I can't quite place why. The two make for a pretty picture as they dance in the center of the ballroom. Even the Phantom's crowd's attention stay on them. This reminds me so much of Hana and I during the early days of our marriage. The honeymoon years, they call it. We were happy then, too. All smiles and her sunshine, even with the normal dreary weather. Younger, we had less to worry about, or at least thought that way. I wished we could go back to that way, even with all that I did and had to do. But life has a way of catching up. There was always work to be done. Although we had to stay in the loving, perfect couple in public, I could not afford to look so weak. To appear tied down to someone else, to appear tied down to someone else to those who knew who I really am. I had a heart in my heart when I have business, but it hasn't always been so easy to just switch that part of me on and off. I should be concerned about their intrusion too. Ask what in the bloody hell they're doing in my house, throwing a party as if they own the place. Ask myself how the fuck I didn't notice what was going on before, when the parlor and foyer were both only a few doors away. But I have the feeling that yelling and screaming at them won't do much of anything anyway. None of the others have given me notice. I realize that this might not even be real. It dawns on me that these two are the people from the paintings, the ones all over the mansion. Which makes sense. I don't think I'm imaginative enough to make this all up on my own. This must be a dream. Or a really horrible high. Just then, I can feel eyes on me as I contemplate the absurdity of the situation. Yet, I find it difficult in trying to tear my eyes away from those two dancing. I manage, and I regret looking away. Hi. The woman from the balcony stands beside me. I can hear her rattling breath, menacing and chilling. Everything in me screams to run, but something pins me to the spot as she just looks at me, watching and waiting. The clamor of their voices fill the ballroom. Although they say such welcoming words, I do not feel comforted by the madness I'm experiencing. Their joyous voices turn sinister and foreboding in my ears. The chorus of people that shouldn't exist, threaten to overwhelm me, drown me even as I stand on dry land. The music still plays as the Phantom Quartet continues while I stand here, vulnerable and afraid. But the dance has already ended, and I'm afraid that I might just be tonight's entertainment. Attention is all well and good until bollocks like this goes down. These phantom people watch me, thousands of eyes scrutinizing, though they cheer for my return, cajole me to dance and join in the merriment. Their eager hands all over, pulling me in every direction, but they do not move me enough to remove me from the woman's gaze.
Listen. Can you not hear them as they welcome you home?
Look.
Your kind. Our kind. You're one of us, my love. We are bonded by the blood we share.
If I thought the voices were overwhelming before, it's nothing compared to how they are now. The voices are loud, speaking in unison, echoing ever on in the space of my head. They welcome me, as if I've always belonged, as if I was meant to be here in the first place. They call me in all these titles and names that do not belong to me, and that man's face, the one with the empty eyes, flashes again before me. Once, fleetingly, like a new memory has burned itself in my mind. I have to struggle for air and come back to myself after.
I'm not. This isn't.
The welcome turns to screams at my protest, pained and desperate pleas for my help, telling me that it is my duty to stay, telling me that I belong among them, to them. Gentle touches turn near threatening, the warning scratches and the baring of teeth by predators before they truly maim someone. My mouth goes dry as I struggle to speak some sense into this hallucinatory madness, but I don't get the chance as I drown out my voice.
Our lord. My prince.
Ew. At her words, there's compulsion to stay. Though my heart races at my chest, the fear I should be experiencing refuses to register in my head. Mind and body war with each other, nearly tearing me in two.
Oh, you finally returned to us.
The compulsion to walk into her arms is strong. Whispers in my head tell me to go to her. They say that she is safety. She is home and heart.
We have been waiting for so long.
But repulsed at these thoughts, I wrench away and turn with a small gasp. Without hesitation, I start to make a run for it. I nearly falter when an angry shriek pierces the air, inhumane and monstrous. I don't dare look back. I just run. I didn't care if this was some drug-induced hallucination or not. Just run! Out of the ballroom. And out of the parlor. It's only then that I bother to look back up, hoping and praying to the god I scorned that it did not pursue me. I would run all the way out of the mansion too if only someone didn't get in my way. No. No. Why? No. Stop feeling secondhand embarrassment. No. This guy sucks. I collide with a body much larger than mine and fall back to the ground, head spinning as I look up at the stained glass. Turning my head to the side replaces the colorful sight with a pair of shiny black shoes. Fatigue fills every inch of my being then, making me refuse to get up. Meanwhile, a familiar head of ginger hair looks down at me in bemusement. Okay. Hi, Johann.
You really must look where you're going if you insist on running about. Do tell, where is the fire?
Oh, thank God you're here.
I do hope you don't have a concussion. Can you count backwards from 15 to 1 for me?
Oh, fuck off, you wanker. Just help me up.
I do not think insulting me if you do have a concussion is a smart decision. But no, really. 15 to 1.
That woman, she was here. I told you to keep an eye out for her.
The other man offers me an arm and pulls me up to my feet then. But before I can stir him off and pull him to the ballroom, he anchors me down with one hand on my shoulder and the other one touching the back of my head.
No bruising or bump. That still does not mean that you don't have a concussion. If you are too lazy to count backwards, can you tell me your full name? Where are you currently?
We don't have Lucille Mitchell Wright, and this is the Ermengarde bloody fucking foyer. But we don't have time for this.
You must make and have the time to make sure you are not broken in the head. I have already sent security to scour the whole house when I saw you running out of the parlor, Dummkopf. If the woman is here, they will have her. You will only be slowing them down if you plan to interfere.
When he points that out, I realize that there are guards starting to filter into the house as we speak, with some already searching the nearby rooms. Armed and uniformed men go about in pairs, making it so that the house is in a flurry of activity. He lets me go then, with the knowledge that I'm not going to keel over anytime soon.
I was hoping that you would be tired from dealing with the young miss on my return. Instead, you come running and hit your head. Such a troublesome boy. Shall I be carrying you to bed, too?
I can manage just fine on my own. Though I don't see how I can sleep until that woman is caught.
He says... Johann's is so sassy. I like him.
It'll be easier to keep you safe in your quarters. This is twice we've known the woman to break in.
Oh, she can't break in if she already lives there.
I think we can safely presume that you hold her interest.
Yeah, apparently. He says it as a matter of fact in a tone that broke no argument. Not like I'll argue it if it means I'm kept safe. Two of us hurry upstairs, though we remain watchful and wary of any potential threats to my person. We make it to the master bedroom without any trouble, though, and 2 security are left outside the door. No problems at all. Not until we get inside. Johann's eyes scan the room wildly, a look of dread on his usually stoic face. And I don't understand for a moment. Looking around the bedroom, it's empty. But then I realize...
Where's Hana? She came home with you from the hospital, didn't she?
She's supposed to be here. I sent one of the maids to accompany her here, to let her rest.
Oh. I feel the color drain from my face when he raises a hand to stop me from charging out there.
Stay.
I'm not staying in here while Hana stays out there.
One of the guards will find her and bring her here.
And what if they don't? What if that woman gets to her first? What if she already has her?
That's not possible.
You can't promise that.
There's no second thought as I reach under my side of the bed and pull out one of my knives. Really? A kitchen knife? I guess it works, but like... I have no doubt that the other man can take me on if we are both unarmed. But with this, I can even the field, or at least deter him from escalating the situation and risk hurting either of us.
I'm going out there to look for Hana, and you're either with me or you aren't. I'm not risking Hana, and I'm not leaving her alone.
Still, like a stubborn mule, he refuses to budge from the door. There's a withering look on him that I try to match. One that, somehow, I'm losing fast to, even with him not saying a word, yet.
Can you see yourself in the mirror right now? You are in no proper state to go looking for anyone. If it will make you happy, I will do the looking. But please, and don't make me repeat this, stay where it's safe, where security can find you. We already have one person to be worried about. Please don't add another one to it.
Perhaps it is in his tone. In spite of his general disdain for virtually everything that has to do with me, I'd like to think that over the years he has grown to care for Hana, at least. Much as I loathe to admit this, I trust him with her safety over every servant in this house. So, an acquiesce.
You have 2 hours, Shuriken. I don't think it'll take that long to find one missing woman in this house. 2 hours! Any more than that, and I'm going out there.
Of course.
Despite his words, he lingers. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he wants to make sure I get in that damn bed and sleep before he turns away from me. What am I, a child? Watching me and treating me like one. There's the reason why we will never get along.
Well, what are you waiting for?
And the knife?
The knife stays.
Very well.
Only then does he seem to take the hint. With a nod, he leaves, locks and closes the door behind him. For a moment, I still hear his voice while he gives the guards outside firm instructions, then a hush as soon as he departs and his footsteps fade away. One that doesn't quite last. As quickly as the silence settles, lightning flashes across the sky, followed immediately by a loud boom of thunder. And that wanker strikes so dangerously close that I can feel the electricity in the air. The power goes out not a second later, and I feel as if I'm being mocked by whatever greater power there is. All is deathly still for a moment, but soon the rain starts once again, far heavier than the light drizzle from this morning, its pitter-patter hitting hard against this place's roof. Despite the noise, I find myself drawn to my bed, exhausted, hoping for a little nap. I'm safe here. Hana will be safe too. Shuriken will find her, and when I wake, she'll be here. It does not take long. Once my head hits the pillow, in a matter of minutes, darkness claims me, bringing with it laughters and whispers of a twisted love from a time long gone.
Who are you? Stay away!
Sweet dreams, my love. It'll be over soon.
Okay, we're finally getting into it. Yet, in spite of the unfamiliar voices and unwanted touches from shadows lurking in the dark, rousing is a slow, arduous process. Difficult, every limb heavy with lead. No matter my aversion to the words they murmur in my ears or the sight of her horrid smile from afar, my body refuses to yield. I am at their mercy. Beyond unfathomable reason, my unconsciousness refuses the pull of the waking world, choosing to linger in the pits of a dream, gradually drawing me deeper into an unknown depths. Somehow, even if it might mean I may never open my eyes, I allow them.
You do not belong there, my prince.
Not that I mind getting a few extra hours of sleep, of course. The bed's more than comfortable as it is, after an exhausting day yesterday. Babysitting Kylie, the stress of finding an intruder in my own home, not to mention those bloody eyeballs they left. I think I deserve a little break every once in a while, especially after going through all that in a single day. I can only be on the receiving end of so many unacceptable things within the span of a few hours, you know? As gracious a host in person I am, my patience has its limits too. Although there's still the problem with Hana. I haven't forgotten that, of course, but that's why I hired Shuriken. He's competent enough. He won't last a day in my service if he's any less than those half-wits who think they can deceive you with sweet words. He's more than capable of working on his own without guidance. Let the butler take care of that little problem with Hana while I... Hana.
You do not need her. I'm here. We are here. This is where your home is.
I hate the whispers.
You belong. For the blood we share. Come back to us.
How long has it been since? Johann's never taken this long before.
Surely there should have been an update by now, right?
So, why isn't there?
Please don't go.
Bloody hell, the cretins I've surrounded myself with.
And isn't that enough reason to force myself out of bed? as it has always been the case. My eyes fly open, expecting the warm rays of sunshine filtering through the curtains, only to be greeted by a blinding flash of light and a loud boom of thunder that sounded nearly too close to my ears. Strong gusts of wind will occasionally burst in from the open balcony door, bringing in drizzles of cold rain into the room. Why the fuck would you leave that open? Unless it just got opened by Ghosty. I must have left it open earlier before dozing off. The carpet and the floor closest to it is already drenched. Hana's gonna be so cross when she sees this. Not that it's an immediate problem. If anything, this power outage should be minding first. With the intruder still at large, steering through this darkness might be far more fatal than multiple stab wounds, or a gunshot to the chest.
Oh, great. The power's still out. That is exactly what I need right now. Yes.
It's this storm, of course. I should have moved back to the penthouse to weather it in a much more comfortable setting. Already I can hear the creaking groans of this old place as rain beats against the windows.
Johans! Has someone been sent to check the circuit breaker yet?
No answer.
Johans?
Silence.
Shroking! Someone! Anyone?
Still nothing, and my cordial mood is quickly dissipating.
Where are those idiots when you need them?
It's really a wonder why he hasn't fixed this yet. Was I really out that long? Can't be. It's only been a few hours after midnight, and if the time of my wristwatch is anything to go by. Unless I've forgotten to change it again after the last overseas trip a month ago. Though the delay is understandable if he went looking for Hana as he promised. But bloody hell, my safety's also at stake here. Cursing, I stay still, letting my eyes try to adjust to the darkness while my hands fumble for my slippers. If that butler isn't going to fix this, I may as well order security posted outside to do it. It's probably just a blown fuse. Anyone with a brain can repair one. Grabbing my jacket and footwear finally on, I make for the door. Although in haste, I pause briefly when a gleam catches my eye. Out of one of my drawers, underneath the clutter I've yet to organize, the muzzle of a gun peeks out. Hana has never openly commented my possession of it, but I know she does not approve, knowing the bloody firearms policy in this nation. Of course, I've not found much use for it in the 7 years we've been together. Otherwise, she would have already thrown it out years ago. Doesn't mean it won't be useful now. Without a second thought, I seize it, sending the stuff piled above it on the floor. Whatever. I'll get to it later. This blackout problem should be resolved first. Right next to my missing security detail, as it turns out.
Where the fuck did everyone go?
I think it's kind of funny that outside the windows is stars, even though it should be rain right now. Whatever. There were two, weren't there? Shrokin had 2 blokes posted to stand guard for the night. I might be panicking for a bit earlier, but I'm sure I haven't gotten delusional yet. What, did both of them decide to take a break? Because they think the master's already sound asleep and won't be looking for them?
Damn nitwits.
I know assassinations happen very rarely these days, and even less in a peaceful city like Luxburn, but bollocks! There's been a woman going in and out of this place uninvited, who may or may not have wanted to put a knife in my back. And another peasant managed to break into this house just the other day. Isn't that enough reason to stay on alert? I'm fairly certain Shrokin won't just enlist their help for this power outage, only to leave me unprotected. We have a difficult friendship, so to speak, but I doubt the man is an opportunist. I'm holding the lives of his family in my hands, after all. He knows what I'm capable of doing. He's not stupid enough to do anything that'll endanger them and save only himself. So, where then? Only my footsteps echo along the dark passage, and I'm left gripping the handle of my pistol for some sort of comfort. Without proper lighting, and with the storm still raging outside, the stories I've heard about this place seem to have some truth to it. Some. If I'm reaching and wish to entertain myself for a bit, I'll say that there might also be ghosts whispering in my ears, calling. Of course, it's just the wind in the trees rustling outside. Nothing good will come out of allowing these thoughts to linger when problems are piling up in front of me one after the other. Especially with what greets me once I get to the foyer. Though it's dark, the large windows illuminate the area much more easily than any of the other rooms. Huh. Because there was furniture piled up in front of one of the doors, right? I kind of had thought it was... somehow it was going to be, Jerkface over here. But I guess not. Did someone else do it then? And from where I stand at the top of the stairs, I can easily make out their forms. Recognize them even. It's all gone crazy when these intruders come into my house. I'm no stranger to a cop playing dirty. The smart ones knew that neither life nor criminals are going to play fair. But Lily, the estate agent? She doesn't seem the sort. And Daisy too? What will Kylie think of her Miss Pink if the poor tyke finds out about this? Not to mention Mint. Hana trusted her. I trusted her to be professional at the very least, for fuck's sake.
Well, well, what have we here? If I were any less sober, I'd say this is the beginning of a joke.
Bloody trespassers. What is wrong with these people? Did they really think I'll be fine with them walking into my house like this? What are they even doing in here? If I didn't know any better, they might also be behind Hana's disappearance.
That's right, my love.
They must have a motive.
Make them pay.
And it better be a good one.
For all the wrong they've done to us.
Or a bullet to the head is the least all of them will deserve. I don't make a habit of harming women, of course, but this just crosses the line.
Let's see. A high school teacher, a real estate agent, and an interior designer walk into a mansion.
Thunder crackles once again, cutting me off. This time, the sound hits close enough that it nearly feels as if the windows and the ground itself are rumbling. All is deathly still for a moment. I don't let it stop me, however, as I slowly make my way towards them. Taking one careful step at a time, relishing the expression of fear in their eyes. I suppose there's something ominous in the setting with the heavy rain outside and the lack of light here. I kinda like it, to be honest. Add something to the atmosphere. Suppose I might look like a villain now. But short of me getting close to them, a noise to my left distracts me, briefly halting my movement while curiosity takes over every murmurs in my head. It's a good thing, perhaps, that I did, because as soon as I look up, I see him. The detective from a few days ago. The one Lee mentioned. Just as he's about to jump down from the furniture that has somehow ended up piled and blocking the door to the parlor. What happened there? And did he really think it's alright to do that in other people's house? Lout.
Teach him, my lord. Put him in his place.
Good gravy. My hand's already moving before any rationale can stop me. Fingers firm at my gun when I finally release the safety from it and take aim. Not at him, but his friends. They are his, aren't they? Why else would they be here together? Doesn't matter. I know his kind follows some form of moral standard. He won't let an innocent be harmed, especially people he cares about. My finger on the trigger is more than itching to shoot, but I hold back. Sure, I could have simply taken aim at him, but more than seeing him bleed, I want to see the expression on his face once he realizes everything he's done is futile. He's trapped. Lives are in my hand. His life's in my hand.
Had I known there would be a party in my own home tonight, I would have opened a bloody bottle or two. People these days, in my own home. Can you believe it? I feel so left out.
I can tell the exact moment the realization dawns on him. A short second of his body freezing and blood draining from his face, as soon as his feet hits the floor and he looks up. He's already a prey trapped by his own recklessness.
How pathetic.
And really, Daisy, even you, what would Kylie say?
Luke, this isn't what you're thinking. You have to listen to us. There's something going on here.
Well, obviously, why else would people be trespassing in my home? What about little Lily over there, then? What's your excuse? Checking back if your clients are doing okay? Is that it? Is this what this is? Oh, we're doing good, by the way.
Sir, please.
Oh, please what?
We need to get out of this place. You need to leave.
Not a good enough excuse, darling. You people are the ones who need to get out of my sight. Don't worry, I might consider pressing lighter charges for the woman. Can't say the same for Feathers here, though. But really now, I swear, people need to stop breaking into my house! This is how you want to start the week. Why don't we just go with a bloody massacre if we want to surprise people in their homes, huh?
It's just a passing remark, of course. I'm not stupid enough to do something that'll bring negative attention to myself. Reputation and all that. I just can't risk it. The thought of having dead bodies here, ones that I'm not even responsible for, they're the ones who trespassed. It's already quite too much. It'll literally be overkill, especially for someone like me. Nevertheless, joke or not, Feathers wastes no time drawing his own gun at the slight wave of my own, even if he knows it's already too late. Still, he glares at me. Still, he fights back.
Now, Feathers. Manners. You're in no position to be pointing that gun at people.
There's no desperation in him like I'm hoping. Just an annoyance flickering shortly before being hidden underneath the challenge. The likes of him are the kind of people I hate the most. Even with their failures already glaring down at them, mocking every worthless move they make, they have the impudence to stare people in the eye.
Why don't you put yours down first, and then we'll talk about manners.
Oh, he talks back. The gall! You know, your kind pisses me off so much.
Annoying, most of the time. Like a damn pest you can't be rid of. But to some degree it is commendable. I'll give him that. After all, we're almost the same in that regard. Almost. I'm still the better person, of course. He tells me to put the gun down, but I see no reason why I should. I'm a homeowner, in defense of my own home. I have the right to, I'd like to think. Questionable permit of firearms aside. It's not like I wanted this, but I'm already high-strung and their presence doesn't help. Bloody peasants. I can never seem to figure out how their minds work fully. Take this one, for example. Despite the pride brimming in him, how he matches my glare with one of his own, he simply lowers his pistol after a second. Not in surrender. The tense set in his shoulders tells me as much, but the closest he can get to lowering his own ego in favor of something I can't quite place. Interesting. Gonna admit, I'm almost disappointed.
As you should be, my lord.
Did I make a bad decision? I've expected him to hold until one of us shoots the other. Can't say it'll be more exciting that way. A bullet inside any part of my body isn't something I'd like to have on a bad day like today. Or any day for the matter. But it'll surely be predictable of him. And I like predictable. They're the kinds of people who are the easiest to deal with, no matter the situation. With them, there's no second guessing what they'll do. He shoots, I shoot, one of us dies, the other walks away. Nothing complicated. Nothing require much brain power, just muscle memory and who's the better shooter. End of story. Yet here he is, dragging a deep breath in and setting aside the only thing protecting him. I can easily shoot him this way, be done with this whole farce of a conversation. Instead, I find myself listening. A concession. For a person who, in another life, would have also become the person I am today, had the circumstances allowed it. Damn shame. We might have gotten along.
Listen, right. I need you to...
But alas.
You broke into my house, and somehow, you expect me to listen like a good little boy. Are you a bit touched in the head, Feathers? I'm not the one breaking laws here.
Well, I mean, you do have a questionable gun permit, so...
Look here, fucker. If I wanted you dead, I could have done it so many times already. In fact, I can easily shoot you down right here, right now. And you won't be able to do a damn thing, even with that gun.
A meeting of two prideful blokes will never go well, whichever lifetime it is. And I can only laugh at his audacity, his lack of shame and fear even facing the business end of my pistol.
You know what I'm thinking right now? In another lifetime, we would have probably gotten along well.
The best truth I can offer him, Not many people, those who have slighted me in particular, live this long to see it.
And he should be grateful. You're already gracious enough, allowing him to stand in your presence like this.
Yes, especially when he has a lot to answer. Preferably right now. Because as generous as I have been so far, my patience has its limits. My amusement can only last for so long. In 2 steps, I'm standing in front of him, grabbing him by the collar and resting the cold muzzle of the eagle against his temple.
Ashton! Luke, no!
He'll end up a pretty smear on the wall this close.
Teach this loud a lesson.
What is it that you people really want with me? This is the 3rd time this week, and I'm really getting weary of this little game. Did the NCA send you to apprehend me? Or has somebody paid you off to kill me? Which one is it, Feathers?
Mind you, my arm's getting tired. Better answer quick if you don't want to beat the business end of this gun.
And he knows it. Of course he does. He's a trained officer, isn't he? But not many bother to be as cautious as him. One glimpse at my handgun safety earlier is all it took for him to see I mean business. Similar. Too similar. We're too alike in so many ways it's funny. Down to the fact that he doesn't even flinch, no matter how heavy the threats of my words are. Even knowing how one flick of my finger on the trigger will be enough to end his sorry life. He should have caved in by now, started begging like so many others before him. Instead, he throws one more vitriol, adds more kindling to a fire already burning.
I'm not with NCA. I'm just here to help. There's something else in this house, and we're all in danger. You have to believe me, right? You need to let us go. You need to get out of here before it's too late. If you want to keep your sorry ass alive, you'll listen to people with more brain cells than you.
Igniting it further that I can't help it, but returning it to him with equal fervor. Oh, there's no voice this time.
We don't need him, my love.
There, I substituted the voice.
Why, you insolent!
We both decided to move in that moment, both our bodies tensing, each of us racing to get ahead of the other. However, before either of us can get a head start, a voice unexpectedly rings above the chaos to ensue.
Hannah?
Oh, Luke, darling, my love. What do you think you're doing out here this late?
The woman that stands there is the one that I married, the love of my life. So why is it that look she gives me now makes me feel so revolted? Makes it so that there's just a great sense of wrongness in the way she smiles at me.
Hannah! Oh, thank goodness, it's just you. Oh, you gave me quite the fright. We've been looking all over for you.
Saying this makes my tongue feel heavy. I'm so used to lying, to putting on a face, but this just feels so wrong. It's such a small lie, yet a big one at that. To be afraid at the sight of my own wife for no apparent reason is illogical, yet her mere presence has been disturbing. From her suddenly devoted and near-dependent nature, to her obsession and possessiveness, to her strange way of speaking, something has been wrong with Hannah as of late. I didn't want to admit it, but it almost as if she'd been turned into another person overnight. And looking up at her now only seems to solidify this. It's almost as if I can't recognize my own wife.
Fetch me, whatever form, my prince.
Look, that doesn't matter right now. You need to get out of this house right now, alright? Stay in the penthouse for a while.
Leave our home? What if I wish to stay?
Please no.
It's not safe here, darling. Now is not the time to explain. Just listen to me. Okay, Buttercup?
I hold out my hand to her, in the hopes that she won't ask any more questions. I shove away the ill thoughts that I have about her, about how this is not the wife I've married. People change, and now is not the time to have some sort of existential crisis about it. Our safety is top priority right now, and I'll feel better about all of this as long as I can have her by my side. But she barely budges from her place atop the stairs, let alone takes my hand. And the way she looks at me just sends chills down my spine.
Why should I? Is something the matter? What about you? Are you not coming with?
No. What was I supposed to say? Where to even start? Maybe I should just confess that there's some crazy lady roaming around, and I'd really like it if we just stayed safe.
You just need to leave for a while so I can let security sweep the place. And someone has to be there, yes? To supervise and all. That'll be my job, Buttercup.
Still, nothing. She doesn't move from where she stands, still with that amused grin on her face, as if this is all some funny joke and she's the only one who can see the punchline.
But I do not wish to leave, and you should not either. You've just arrived, my prince. This is your home. Our home. Would you really allow others to drive us away from it?
Be that as it may, it is dangerous here right now, and I'd rather have you safe than, oh, I don't know, comfortable, or whatever argument you wish to bring up. This is ridiculous, Hana. We shouldn't be discussing this. You need to leave now. Let me handle things here, Buttercup.
It is then that her expression turns absolutely horrific, and everything turns to complete and utter shite. Hi! Oh, hey, look, there's a person-shaped pole right here. That probably was Zach. I'm so sorry, Zach. Hana's body shudders and shakes, as if she's about to have a seizure, until her visage, ripples and changes. Golden yellow hair is slowly stained with inky black, and her face melts into that of the woman, the maid from before, with a menacing expression on her face. Along with it is the shifting of the very ground we stand on. It's a slow thing, a whisper more than a bang as the darkness creeps into every corner of the room. The walls shudder and groan. Blood runs from the ceiling, crawls down the walls, and stains the floor. It feels as if life itself is being sucked from the house, slowly but surely. The beauty of this place is gone, with only the dread, decaying remains of a mansion left in its wake. I don't have to wonder if this is just the foyer that's become this nightmarish place. I can already hear it. Gone are the growling of thunder and lashings of rain and wind against the foyer's high windows. All of it has been replaced by a more grating sound. A cacophony of voices from nowhere and everywhere echoing throughout the now horrid walls. Voice that neither belongs to us nor the people who live here.
What's going on?
All throughout the house, shouts of alarm and surprise ring out, a mirror to the horror creeping on each of us. Who wouldn't be shocked? This is insane. Even Daisy, feisty woman that she is, trembles at the sight of it, clinging desperately to Lily while Feather stands protectively in front of the two. Brave of him, I have to admit, to put himself on the front line like that. Though it doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't feel the same fear as the rest of us. Something I don't blame him for. There seems to be no end in sight for this insanity. If anything, it only feels like it's the beginning of the end.
Help me! Oh my god! Please, somebody! Anybody! Who are you? Stay away!
No. Stay away. Stay away.
No! She's here! You've gotta let me out! She's gonna kill me!
Zach!
Someone! She's...
Their screams fill the mansion. She laughs all the while, a harsh, agonizing sound that goes on for what feels like forever. Until there's nothing but silence, a horrid smile, and pale hands reaching out to me. Calling. Beckoning. Pleading. I'm terrified. I really am, like I should be. But I've never been one to truly stay afraid. I've long learned that fear will not get me anywhere. Cowering in a corner doesn't keep me safe, and it will not keep me alive. Not like rage does. I've learned to use this burning hate inside of me to survive. There's no difference now.
Stay away from me!
Why do you wish to leave? This is where you belong, my lord. Remember the blood we share? This is your home. Don't you remember? You promised to return, to stay, together with me, with us. With people no different from you.
Don't listen to her, she lies. I promised no such thing to anyone. We bought this house weeks ago. How should I know what she's babbling about? I never even wanted to be here in the first place.
A terrible case of mistaken identity. That must be it. I'm sure of it. I don't know this woman, this monster. Why would I say that to someone like her? My entire lifetime I've only made and kept sincere promises to mere 2 people, Hannah Evans and Eleanor Chandler. No one else. The rest of those who claim I've promised anything to them can go fuck themselves. Bloody hell. I may enjoy the company of women, but I am not an idiot to start spouting such nonsense to anyone. A line must be drawn, especially if I'm to keep myself alive. Yet, she still goes on, insists, makes me appear a liar in front of these people.
Of course you still deny it. Have you truly forgotten? You haven't changed, I see. Still a deceiver.
She's lying!
You see, my love, nothing has changed. Still no difference, you and I. Just like the rest of us. Just like every single soul in this putrid wreck. We've waited for so long. You can hear them, yes? Their pleas, their calls, their invitation. Come, my lord. The house seeks its master.
The monster reaches out again. Her hands a gory, abhorrent sight, along with that smile spread across her face. My body's already moving on instinct. Stumbling back, one step at a time in a desperate bid to be away from her. Anything to put distance between me and this vile creature. No matter what she says, I am nothing like her. I need to get out of this house. Out of this country, preferably. There's nothing for me here. Not anymore. Nothing to keep me tied to this place. With Hannah beyond saving, no longer the same woman I knew, and Shroken likely taken by this woman, nothing's left to bind me to this wretched city. I can leave, My foot steps on something, sending me sliding on my back and flat on the floor. Beside me, a piece of paper, familiar one, flutters down. It's this thing again, from the open house, though it feels less like a gimmick and more like a thread with what recent events. It must have fallen from one of the peasants in the commotion earlier. For a moment, they appear conflicted to see it in my hands, but wisely keep their opinions to themselves, leaving the damn thing to simply bear its grisly message for everyone in the room to see. Help me. Help me. Help me. Is this it? What they've been telling us? Why everything in my life has gone to shite? Because of some stupid old letter. An invitation, indeed. One I'm not willing to accept. Not any time. From the top of the stairs, the creature moves again, drawing my attention back to her. Her gait remains slow and awkward as she walks forward, that smile never leaving her. But I won't give her the chance. I am not dying here. I am certainly not giving myself to a hideous creature like her either. Adrenaline kicks in desperate and despite panicked gasps and worried glances from Daisy's friends, I pay them no mind as I reach for the main door and, without warning, it slams open, revealing not the mansion grounds like I am expecting. Before my mind can even comprehend what's happening, black tendrils have already coiled tightly around my limbs, dragging every person in the foyer into the room. None of us even get to scream when darkness completely envelops us upon the doors closing.
Understand where your place is now, my love. You belong here. Is it so difficult to grasp? We've been waiting.
There's a moment of panic when the feeling of the tendrils around my limbs finally dissipates. As soon as my eyes adjust to the darkness of the room and I'm on my feet, I'm reaching for my knife and holding it out, watching, waiting for every movement, using it as a way to put distance between me and these peasants. Who knows what they'll do now? We're all desperate to get out of this house. There's only 5 of us in the room, 3 of them friends at that. And though Mint has already gone loon, crouched in a corner muttering to herself, you can't really say anyone's safe from her. If anything, she's the one I should watch out for. I cannot trust these people not to turn on me. I cannot trust anyone. Not anymore. Not after this. Despite the pleading looks Lily shoots my way while they're all huddled in the corner behind the feathers. But I have to remind myself that even people like her are capable of doing the unpleasant. She's only human after all. It's never an excuse why. It's never an excuse why. Even Hannah has her cunning, manipulative moments, though she does it much subtler than I. Why else would Lily show this letter to us that day if not to save herself? I guess that backfired on her now that she and her friends are also stuck here. Still, I have every right to be livid. Everything that I've built has fallen apart. All because these people came into our lives.
You! All of you!
This is all your fault! If I'm dying to this bloody case, I'm taking you all down with me!
Calm down, Wright. The situation's already bad. You're just making it worse.
You shut your mouth! If it weren't for you, for this letter, for all of you, none of this would have happened! Hana would still be...
Suddenly, Daisy steps up and slaps the knife away from my hand.
Don't you dare, Luke! Don't you dare put that blame on us!
Without batting an eye, glaring at me as if she might rip my head off in this instant, said knife slides uselessly under the table, out of my reach. I should have expected she's not the kind to submit even under threat. Right now, all of us appear smaller, facing her anger.
Last I checked, we're the ones trying to do the saving here.
And what about your friend over there? Are you saying she is responsible for this mess? For the lives this sorting letter took? Dragging other people into her own problems just so she could save her little sorry self? You think I haven't seen that before? Getting real tired of your double standards, Daisy!
You know this curse is an entirely different issue, Luke. Because, knowing you, I don't doubt that even without that blasted letter, you would have eventually...
Rebecca, stop! All of you, stop this!
To hear Lily speak out loud, I can't say I'm not surprised. She's always given me the impression of someone who's so meek from the moment I've met her, either from her inexperience or station in life. She's never struck me as someone fitting to be a real estate agent. Until now. Quietly, she puts herself between me and Daisy, cutting off whatever scathing words we've yet to hurl at the other. The way she glares at me reminds me a little of the way my own mom would look at me. Particularly when I've done something wrong, and it's not a stare she's unused to showing. She's done this before, probably to a younger sibling. Huh. She only sees us now as a pair of squabbling kids and not two mature adults. Well, that's only to be expected. No doubt that's how she sees us. For a long moment, there's only silence in the room. Feathers, for all his guts, doesn't even dare break it, merely watching us. Where did all of his bravado go now, huh? Not that it matters when Lily starts speaking again, after some of the anger and tension is lifted from the room.
Stop this, please! With or without that damn piece of paper,
A deep breath. An exhale. And then she closes her eyes, a crease forming between her eyebrows while she grips her hand tightly in front of her.
We still would have ended up in this mess.
The atmosphere that descends into the room right after that, admission is anything but pleasant. Can I call it that? An admission? It seems like it from the way her eyes nervously flick between her friends and I. She appears to know more than she lets on, and how she makes herself appear smaller after dropping that bomb on us doesn't sit quite well with me. And patience in something I don't have the luxury of having right now and bestowing upon other people. What else does this girl know? What else is she not telling us? Because from the looks of this, even her friends have no idea what she's talking about. Unwilling to wait, I grab her arm before she retreats without explanation, waving the letter still in my hand in front of her.
Ow! Sir, you're hurting me!
Hey, hands off her, right?
Fuck off, Feathers. I have questions for your friend, and she better have the answers.
Luke, will you stop taking it out on every single person?
Your friend is hiding something, Daisy.
She struggles for a moment, but my hold eventually forces her to look at me. Fear and uncertainty spread across her features, especially when her eyes land on the damn paper. As much as I want to be considerate right now, I want answers!
What do you mean, Lily?
I'm not sure about it.
Don't give me that, you know something!
Ow! Please, sir! I know the paper's useless, okay?
At the mention of the letter, all of a sudden, Mint stands. I've almost forgotten she's here, her ramblings having faded away in the shouting. Without warning, she snatches the paper out of my hand. It's a miracle it didn't rip right then and there. With the way she glares at it, I think she may want to do exactly that.
We should have gotten rid of this thing! We should have burned it at the first opportunity we got! No, even if we rip it to shreds, it won't do anything. I think...
You don't know what I've seen, Santos.
There were children! Victims! All because they had no idea what this thing will do to them! Oh God, those poor souls! They were screaming and begging before she... Then what about those people they mentioned in the news lately? All those who died? My coworkers? The open house clients? None of them had seen it! Even Rose! And yet they're all dead!
I should know. That letter has been with me since I picked it up. And I swear I didn't make copies of this thing. Even if I wanted to save myself, I wouldn't do that to my friends. Or anyone.
Is that what the trip to BRC was for?
Yes, I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you guys until I was certain. None of you believed me the first time. I had to find proof.
And yet we're all here! Are you taking me for a fool, Lily?
I have to go with whiskey on this. Who knows how many has already seen this before you found it? This cursed thing has to go!
We would have ended up here either way. Maybe? I really don't know. Sir, please. All I know is that paper isn't the reason why all of this is happening. There's something else. Maybe it's this place that's the problem. Maybe it's this we should be getting rid of.
What? You mean, like, burn this place down?
I still think we should get rid of this letter before we start thinking of destroying a place with some historical value!
What? No! We are not burning a multi-million-pound mansion, you peasants! I just spent a fortune on this! Bloody fucking hell! Not only do I have trespassers on my property, but they're also arsonists!
How dare they suggest something like that? Bloody peasants! My head's already aching from just listening to them. To think this is the solution they came up with. I should have just stabbed all of them and made a run for it. Doesn't help that with each second we spend talking here, the crazier this whole place gets. The voices become louder and somehow sounding more vicious. If the things in this room start floating, mark my words, I will fucking flip out. I may not be thinking of it right now, but eventually, they'll turn on me. Such is the nature of humans. Gotta find a way out of this place as soon as possible if I want to stay alive. Fuck, I still have so much to do. None of our choices seem sound, but who knows? We don't understand a shite about this place. Might as well try everything, yeah? Whatever works. If I also have to be the one to make the bloody decision, then so be it. Less room for errors, with only the sane one doing the thinking. On the off chance I'm wrong, well, they suggested it. I decide to... Okay. I'm gonna go with Isabella. I almost called her Lily. No, do not be Luke. We are going to burn the mansion. I don't think the letter is it. I think it is the mansion. I think it's if you enter the mansion, you're just fucked. I think. I'm going to regret this. I will. But with these cries growing louder, this has become the easiest decision I've ever made. I'm getting tired of hearing her sobbing, really. It's just irritating. Isn't she getting tired of it? Besides, someone has to act fast, think fast. And what else is the root cause of our problems but this place where the letter was found? No need to make things more complicated. It started here. Why wouldn't it end here? If what Lily has said is true, then there's all the more reason to destroy it. Put an end to this madness before someone else thinks of putting this blasted place up in the market. When I get out of this place, I swear I'm suing a bunch of people. Run that estate company to the ground if need be. We spent millions, damn it! Millions! With a sigh and perhaps a heavy heart, I open one of the drawers on my study table, taking a bottle of liquor out for myself and then passing it on to every occupant in the room. They accept it, but not without a look of protest or confused glance my way. It does shut them all up, so maybe I've done something good. Even more when I pop the cork off the bottle and pour its contents on the floor.
Well, what are you simpletons waiting for?
We waste no time dousing the whole room. The smell of alcohol fills the air. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that they're more eager to set this whole place on fire. And the blaze catches easily in this room when I set it alight, using the blasted paper as kindling. So basically the paper and the building and both burned, so... This whole place drenched with wine and all manner of things alcoholic I've been hiding from Hana, the small fire soon turns into an inferno. In a matter of seconds, we're out the door. Doesn't exactly lead to where I'm hoping it will. Although ending up in the kitchen does give us more reason to play like a bunch of pyromaniacs. Fishing up the liquor stocks from the cupboards, we also do the same thing we've done to the study. Door after door in every room we pass. Pouring bottle after bottle of expensive aged liquor and setting everything on fire, only leaving once the blaze has started in earnest. we run out of liquor, we simply drop the bottle and take off one from the many nooks I've stashed one. Jesus Christ. There's no lack of it in here. The hard stuff, the shorts, the watered down kind. Gifts from a distant relative, friends and so-called friends. You name it. I've made sure there's always one within reach.
How many of these things do you keep in this house?
I always have a few bottles in the bedroom, you know, the parlor and the dining room.
You have problems, man.
Well, isn't this the time to discuss them?
Hana had called me out on this numerous times before, telling me of the same thing. I've always told her she doesn't know the half of it, before completely dismissing her concerns. Worrywart, that woman. Turns out it'll be useful now. Not to drown out my sorrows, but for this wonder of wonders. Though I suppose I can now say it has also saved my life. But there's no time for some this is no time for some introspection now, because with each room we pass and burn, the place also becomes easier to navigate, as if it's slowly righting itself, returning to what it's supposed to be. Soon we finally find ourselves standing before the main door. The strong odor of burning wood, cloth, and varnish alike wafts from under the doors of the rooms we've previously torched, filling the hall with a thick black smoke. The blaze has also started in earnest in every part of the house. I can already feel the heat seeping from the rooms I've set aflame. In a matter of minutes, the flames will engulf the whole house. Fittingly, that is when she appears before us, watching us from the top of the stairs, while her world goes up in flames around her. However, what catches my eyes is that expression on her face. Not the vile smile I've already grown accustomed to, or one where her eyes gleam with complete hatred. This one? Forlorn is the only word I can think of to describe it.
No, please. Help me. Help me, please.
Can the dead still feel? Can she hear us? Or is it merely another one of her tricks to keep us trapped in this nightmare? Like this, however, she seems almost like the woman she used to be. I have to remind myself that she's no longer Hana. The woman I love is gone, and who stands before me is nothing but a pale imitation of who she used to be. What's our relationship with Hana? And I don't waste any time pondering over it. Not with the exit just a few steps away. The door's finally open, and through it I can glimpse the world outside. Safety. However, I do turn, if only to see the last of her. A farewell, more than anything. For all her attempts to lure me, draw me in, her wishes to be with me, she does not stop me when I finally run from this horrid place. Quietly, she disappears. Watching a multi-million-pound house burn before me, for some reason, nothing about this bothers me. Maybe it's the one last look on her face that has changed it. Maybe it's what I've seen and heard inside. There's only a calm, a stillness, the same hush that comes after a terrible storm has swept the countryside. And with it is the sight of the sun rising above the horizon. Ever so slowly, the sky begins to lighten before my eyes. Darkness giving way to the warm morning hues, soft rays spilling over the vast expanse of Luxburn's countryside. Nearby, the trees sway and rustle with the breeze, a passing draft that carries even into this room from outside, cold enough to make me shiver. The remains of a storm that has passed. In the distance, I can hear the soft chirping of birds, while the rest of the world stirs, wakes. Dawn, at last. We are free. Okay. Made it to the epilogue, so... I don't know if I would have made it to the epilogue if I had burned the letter, or if we would have all died. I don't know. Like the flames that engulfed the mansion that night, whispers quickly spread around Luxburn City after the incident. Officers who investigated it simply deemed it an unfortunate accident, resulting in the deaths of innocent lives. Regardless of the truth, Luke Wright files criminal charges against Briar Realty Corporation after, for undisclosed reasons to the public, forcing the latter to declare bankruptcy. A move that has merely stoked the rumors further. But, for those who still believe in the stories of old and those who know the truth, it is but a testament to the curse and the secrets of the Ermengarde mansion has hidden for centuries. If there will come a time when those finally will be revealed, only the ashes of the now ruined mansion will. However, On the nights where the wind howls and thunder booms across the sky, some still claim hearing of voices where it once stood, of cries and wails that fill the nights and desperate calls of help for anyone who dares listen. As for those who once treaded its halls, although Luke Wright has won his legal battle with Briar Realty Corporation, another tech leak places him and Wright Enterprise under the spotlight months later. This time, however, with the then Chief Inspector Harvey Lee's sudden absence, the businessman isn't able to escape close scrutiny. In an investigation headed by LPD Detective... goodness gravy. In an investigation headed by LPD's Detective Inspector Ashton Frey, all of Wright Enterprises' illegal business dealings within the past 10 years come to light. Yes, go Ash! Although his involvement with other crimes is still being investigated, the disclosure has caused a huge outcry, especially from the city's business sector. Sued on multiple grounds, the company is ultimately forced to shut down. Meanwhile, to avoid public outrage, the once affluent businessman immediately leaves the city. All of his bank accounts have been emptied, including his Luxburn apartments, leaving not a single trace or clue where he might be hiding. The last anyone to have seen of this man was on a flight bound for Ireland. Till this day, no one has heard from him, even as people from the old Wright Enterprise who have been all left to deal with the aftermath. Though over the past few months after the situation has calmed, some have made claims of spotting him flitting in and out of the city, if only to check on those he has left behind. Months after her recovery, Marianne McCullough heads back to her homeland, ready to close a chapter of a past she has left hanging for so long. There she visits Lorraine's grave, asking for forgiveness from the girl she once loved, something that she has intentionally avoided for years. In spite of this, a different regret still clings to her, one that has been left by what she has witnessed inside the Ermengarde mansion. She never returns to Luxburn after, leaving her interior design company in the hands of her secretary instead. But with her absence, the business eventually declines until they are forced to shut it. Unexpectedly, she turns to music years later, hoping it'll someday drown out the voices and the gruesome memories still lingering in her head. By some stroke of luck or an unfortunate circumstances of fate, Marianne encounters Luke Wright once again, almost a year after she returned home. She meets the man in the local marketplace, a newly settled, fumbling and confused. Although her opinion of him remains ambivalent at best, she reluctantly offers help, especially after seeing him stumble on his Gaelic more times than she deems acceptable. And it becomes a start. Not to a close friendship by any means, but perhaps something akin to it. And on better days, when vitriol and scathing words don't get in the way, there's only the pleasant companionship one offers the other. Casual visits to the other's home, sharing a bottle of wine or two, and simply talking about anything under the sun. A comfort after their mutual loss. Something they both eventually learn to appreciate with time. In the months that follow, Rebecca Gales becomes a prominent researcher within Luxburn's major academic circles. Especially after writing about what she has discovered about Ansem Village and the Ermengarde Mansion. With the help from Professor Andrew Clark, she is soon able to secure funding to continue her research, presenting her findings yearly at a local and international symposiums. Now at the tail end of her current study, she hopes to publish her first book, correcting all inaccuracies in the city's current history. A move supported by both colleagues, students, and friends alike. Yeah, Rebecca! Though she knows she still has a long way to go before she can ever begin to change people's minds about it, Professor Clark warns her as much. She perseveres. Doing it not for herself, but for the sake of what she lost after that curse. As a fresh start as the wounds are as fresh as the wounds are still, this is how she remembers. Things have inevitably become strained between Ashton Frey and Rebecca Gales in the months following her confession. And with their lives getting busier, the two have eventually drifted apart. Oh, that's sad. Although neither talks about it and the teacher still strives to forget an old love, it's clear in Rebecca that there are still feelings left she couldn't let go of. If anything, however, that has only made it more obvious how much has changed between them. Oh, wait. Ashton looked good in a ponytail. Anyway, got distracted. And how much she has clung to the idea of Ashton from their younger days, the one that may not have been there in the first place. Merely an idea for a starry-eyed young girl. But if there will be a time when she But if there will be a time she will be able to accept this, to move on from the hurt and repair an old friendship that has fallen to ruin, only she knows.
Kylie!
Amidst her struggles, Rebecca finds an unlikely companion in Luke Wright. While he avoids the city like a plague nowadays after losing both his company and Hana, he manages to drop in from time to time, mostly to check on his goddaughter, Kylie Suarez, though the man still won't admit when asked. Rebecca still regards the man as insufferable. She doubts it'll change. But after she has seen, much as she denies it, she now considers his presence the closest thing she has to comfort. A similar wow, I'm so close to this being finished and I keep stumbling. A similar sentiment from the former businessman seems to hold, even confiding in the woman of his problems, petty or otherwise. Their friendship may be awkward at best, but with the grim reality of death having once shadowed over the two of them, it's something they eventually grow fond of in time. With her newfound courage, Isabella Santos finally chooses to pursue what she really wants for herself. Yay! Having made enough to keep her family afloat for a few years, and with their blessing, she quits her job at Briar Realty Corporation and takes a scholarship offer from the local university. Though remarkably out of practice and unsure if she'll be able to keep up with the time she returns to university, she finds her feet soon enough with help from people close to her. And with her confidence and her skills growing, so do the number of people recognizing her and her work. It doesn't take long for several award-giving bodies to take notice of her. For all her accomplishments, however, she never truly forgot what happened at Ermengarde Mansion, nor what she lost. The images still remain in her, and on particularly unpleasant nights, terrors continue to visit her dreams. She knows those won't ever disappear from her life. It has become part of her in the same way death has permanently taken from her. However, she's no longer afraid. And with a brave face, she carries on, earnestly wishing that someday she'll be able to paint brighter, more vivid thoughts on her canvas. An honest portrayal of life and hope amidst the fear. Shortly after accepting the scholarship grant from Luxburn University, Isabella moves from Salemwell residences in favor of staying on a dorm close to her campus. Although Rebecca Gale's was quick to offer assistance for the move, she does admit that she will be missing her neighbor of more than 5 years. When all is said and done, she's become fonder of the girl over the years, and with their shared experience over the curse, they've only grown closer. Yay, friendship! Isabella leaves with a promise to visit every once in a while. And even though she still jokingly complains about Rebecca's bossy attitude, she confesses that she also misses the woman's fussing. After all, in a place miles away from her real family, Rebecca is still the closest thing she has to a sister. Following his success in bringing the Luxburn firm case to a close, Ashton Frey receives a recommendation for transfer to Luxburn's lead agency against organized crime. An endorsement eagerly backed by the newly appointed successor to the late Chief Inspector Lee, Abigail Harris. Wait. Lee died? When did that happen? Knowing he'll have more resources, leeway, and a bigger chance at ultimately bringing Luke Wright to justice, Ashton Frey accepts. He still warns the people close to him against Wright and his associates, but only a friendly reminder now more than anything. Though he does worry, he believes they are wise enough to know what they are doing and trust their judgment. For now, he has decided to leave the evidence and the law to speak for itself and take care of the man once the proper time has come. Nowadays, police work and operations keep him busy, sometimes taking him away from the city he grew up in for days on end. A rare thing for him to enjoy once upon a time. Yet, this time, he never loses his drive, simply growing more determined after having finally found a clear purpose to the rush and excitement he dreamed of as a child. Although Ashton still keeps mum about specific details of his work, his experience with the curse has slowly taught him how to open up, especially to those he knows that genuinely care for him. He still has a long way to go, he knows that, but for the sake of the people who are still with him, those who have chosen to stay, as well as what he lost, he hopes that there will come a day when he will no longer hide behind his own lies. A day when he is no longer afraid of facing the truth in his own words. Anyway. After a bit of fumbling, of a few missteps here and there, and the moments of moments of briefly allowing their uncertainties to hang over them, Ashton Frey and Isabella Santos finally finds a rhythm. Theirs isn't a soaring love story by any means, nor is it a happily ever after, often told in the picture books the girl has only ever dreamed of having in her childhood. Far from it, in fact. Despite what people glimpse in their eyes or gleam in their gestures, they both know better than to cling to the ideals. A stranger will say they're in love. Hopelessly. Genuinely. And there is certainly a truth in it. One only has to look. However, what they never see is this. Beyond the soft smiles, fleeting glances, and gentle touches only meant for the other, is a grief. A terror that never seems to lift. Constantly filling their nights with echoes of an unforgiving wail and unwelcome dreams that stirs either awake in the darkest hours of dawn. It has never truly left them, and it never will. In the same way the light scar in Ashton's hand will never fully heal, or the horrid images in Isabella's mind will never fade. But they cope. In hushed whispers and tender reassurances, with light kisses and long embraces. When that no longer suffices, when the horrors become too much for them to bear, they have each other. A warmth to hold on to in the coldest of nights. And for them, it's more than enough. Okay! Whew! Finally! Done! Oh, there's so much reading! I'm so sorry that I just stumbled my way through the last hour. Whatever. Hey, look, the same person who voiced... So the same person...
The game was over before the rules were set. I've never been a winner. I didn't want to play. I thought there was a way out, but there's no exit from this maze, where every path is the wrong turn and every choice is a mistake.
Okay, didn't expect the end credits to like be a vocal song, but wow, that was a really good song. Anyway,
Teal? Where are you, Teal?
Kylie.
Teal? Please? She's here! She's still here, Teal!
Oh, Kylie.
Help me! Please!
Anyway, holy shit. They're gonna make another game? Because hell yeah. Anyway, I'm not surprised by the extra scene we got, because there's no way that it could have been, that I would have gotten, like, the best ending. There's no way. I had someone killed. Didn't save Hana. Didn't really get behind the, like, didn't get, like, the backstory of the entire mystery as to who Takako was or anything like that. I knew there was no way I was gonna get that, but oh my god, have Kylie die! Oh, oh, sweet child. Oh. Anyway, yeah, I have a lot of games still to do. Okay, I'm gonna check out this branching thing real quick. Let me just load. Yes, I'm not making a decision, so fuck you. Oh, you know what? No, actually, let's not do this one. Let's do a different save load thing. I don't like that one. Let's do that one. Ah, more peaceful. Hi, Hana. Nice to see you alive again. Branching tree. Yes. Okay. 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 Huh. Okay, Isabella. Okay. Oh my goodness, gravy. Oh my goodness. Huh. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. What were these choices? Can eat other things too. Be brave and look up. Which is then the QTE. So this is just other dialogue choices that I didn't make. Okay, I'm kind of understanding how this goes. Okay, so this then leads to different... Okay. Stay for the movie. If I left, it would then put me just a common route. By staying, I chose meet with professor and priest. So that... So butterfly effect is a thing. So I guess either way, like, it would lead to butterfly effects, so... Huh. Okay, so that just is story update, depending on which choice I did, huh? Instant abilities are over. I don't remember what that one was, but that led to other things. I went from common route to story update instead. Huh. Okay. Okay. I mean, I this is pretty early on in his route where I'm at. So. Oh boy, does it get very complex. I am so using a guy when I go hunting for achievements. Oh boy. Oh, Zach. I am so sorry, Zach. I am so sorry. I can't... I want to see what the end of his timeline looks like. To see if it, like... I don't know. Ah, bollocks. Ah, damn it. Okay. 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 So, going by that, so Isabella can't die. Okay. Is there a way to save Hana? Or is she just plot device? Okay, Mary Ann. So Mary Ann can't die either? Yeah, because I didn't fail the QTE. So Mary Ann can't die either, which is interesting. What about Rebecca? No. Can I only kill Zachary and I killed Zachary? Ah. Look at all this fucking choices, dialogue, shenaniganry I didn't get to. Damn. And Ashton's is even longer. Oh, how I hate everything. And they both lead to Luke. Look at all this shenaniganry. Oh, man. Luke's is just dumbly long. Alright. Oh, my god. Okay. Okay. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 endings? And I got ending 3, question mark, because this already shows that. Okay, what's this one all the way at the bottom? Where do you pop in at? You're a pretty quick thing to go all the way to the end. Or, like... Where does this decision come into play? All the way here, like, towards the beginning. Okay. Sorry, I'm just kind of nerding out over, stuff. Okay, let me trace this back. Trying to see where I could have possibly made it to where this is happening. Okay, so I think it might be, if I had to guess, it might have to do with my relationships. As to why that... Wow, that goes all the way through that without making any kind of decision. So, would the game have just ended there, I guess? I don't know. Huh. Lot to think about. Oh, man. Anyway, scatter thoughts. I like this game. I can't believe the one character I guess I could kill off I killed. Good job, me. You're stupid. Why'd you make stupid decisions like every dumb person in any horror movie? Oh, let's go investigate the noise. That's exactly what a dumb person does in every movie, and that's what I make fun of every time. And I made that decision. I should have just cheated. I was given a second chance to cheat, and I didn't. I should have. I should have just cheated. But no, I'm going to guess that, like, throughout the story, I'm guessing relationships have to be on certain levels between different characters. What those are, I don't know. I kind of tried for the most part for everyone to get as long as much as possible, but I'm guessing based on the choices I made, I wasn't able to get certain relationships up. Like, Ashton couldn't do anything about him. Or it could just be that's set there and you can't do anything about it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. This game's a lot more complex than what I'm actually used to playing, so that's kind of fun. But yeah, no, this is it. I'm not doing any more of this. I need to move on. I love this game, don't get me wrong. I greatly enjoyed it. And I accepted the consequences for my actions. But this is just so complex. It's not the usual type of game I'm used to, where I could make a couple different decisions and then boom, ending where MC ends up dead, or whatever. Like the branching, the branching of like different options for the games I usually play are a lot simpler than this. It's fine. Oh. I do wonder, like, what the actual full story is behind Takako and the whole mansion, and what you have to do in order to, like, appease her spirit? Because I don't know if the help me is a lure, or if it's a genuine cry for help and you do have to help her move on, or something. I don't know. Either one could be possible. There could be a third option I'm not thinking of. I don't know. It's late for me. Anyway, I guess enough pointless rambling. I like this game. It was a lot of fun. Gave me a couple good jump scares, and I liked most of the QTEs. Most of them. The ones I don't like are just because I'm incompetent. It's fine. I need to find another visual novel like this. Like, this was good. This was good, damn. Can't believe I waited 6 years, I think? 5-6 years before I played this? I don't remember when I had it on my wish list, but it's been sitting there for some time. Now I got to play it, thanks to the encouragement of one of my best friends, Sin. So thank you, Sin. My mind is thoroughly fried. Anyway, now I gotta figure out the next game to play for spooky times. See you next time. Have a good morning, afternoon, night, evening, whatever it is for you. Later.